Baseball is merely a backdrop this Sunday afternoon as we honor those who gave us life and give us so much love. So for the special women in our lives, moms, present and future, we wish you all the best and hopefully an Astros win on this very special day. Happy Mother's Day. Astros baseball is next. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today it's the finale of this 10-game homestand. The Astros take on the Texas Rangers. Good afternoon, everybody, on this special Mother's Day. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby, and we hope you're taking care of Mom today. Maybe she can put her feet up and enjoy a ball game, and hopefully an Astros win as the Rangers go for a sweep today, Ash.
Rangers have been obviously tough in the series. They've been tough coming into this series, and they are a ball club that is formidable on all fronts. The Astros have a lot of work in front of them.
Last night, the Astros trailed 8-3. They fought back to lose 8-7, and they had a real shot there in the ninth inning after scoring 3 runs.
They certainly did. Carlos Corporon got it going. A beautiful job lining one to right field, pitch away. Then it was Carlos Pena with his 6th double on the year, high off the wall in left center field. Great at bat by Trevor Crowe as he eventually, with 2 strikes, takes a good breaking ball down, lines it to center field. And then Chris Carter, called upon as a pinch hitter, eventually pops out. Joe Nathan, one of the game's best closers, able to make a big pitch to get that final out. But it was a terrific ninth inning for the Astros, and probably, I would imagine, does a lot for the spirits on the club.
Jordan Lyles could do a lot for the spirits on the club as well. He has 1 win in his first 2 starts, each of 5 innings, as the Astros look to Jordan to try to win this one today.
Jordan Lyles, 5 innings, as you say, against the Angels last time out. Gave up a 3-run home run in the first inning, that to Mark Trumbo, but then settled in as he gets Josh Hamilton and others. Good breaking pitches. The changeup was a part of things. That curveball is rather good. The fastball in good locations for strikeouts. So he settled in. His final 4 innings of work were quite solid.
Coming up from Minute Maid Park, Wesley Wright's mother Ruby talks on Mother's Day with Julia Morales in just a moment.
In Be right, and my wife, Sherelle. Thank you guys for all your support and being there for me. Help me do what I love to do. And also, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Thank you.
Welcome back to Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. The Astros and Rangers about to get after Game 3 here. And it's a special day. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. But it's also Pink in the Park Day here at Minute Maid Park. And I am joined by a very special mother. This is the mother of Wesley Wright, one of the relievers out of the bullpen, Miss Ruby Wright. Thank you so much for joining us today. And what does it mean for you to come down? You don't live close. So what does it mean for you to come down here and visit Wesley?
Well, it's just a privilege to be able to come and participate on this Mother's Day celebration. I'm from Grady, Alabama, 35 miles south of Montgomery.
Okay.
So I'm just excited.
What is it like for you to watch him? What kind of mother are you when you watch him come in? He's got one of those high-pressure jobs in this game. So what's it like for you?
Believe me, as the mother, I feel the pressure. I'm a little nervous, but at the same time, it feels normal because any mother wants to see her child do the best that he can do. And also, just to see him be able to succeed at his highest level of profession is just wonderful.
As we're talking Mother's Day here, did he get you something good today? And what is your favorite gift from Wesley Ben?
I haven't received my gift yet.
Okay.
I think he's waiting. But Wesley has always put a lot of thought into what he would give. And the best gift that he gave me was a Sony stereo system that goes in the kitchen.
Wow.
And it's installed next to my stove range.
That sounds great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great time at the ballgame today.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That's Miss Ruby Wright, mother of Wesley Wright. Everybody coming up, stay with us. Texas Rangers and the Astros will close out a 3-game series here at Minute Maid Park. It's Pink in the Park. Everybody stay with us.
Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Nice warm day on Mother's Day here. You'll see a lot of pink in this ballpark. Pink bats. seen some players wearing pink shoes. And pink giveaway throughout the weekend, as you know. Baseball caps were pink last night as they were given out. The bags are being given out today. And a youngster takes the field, as is customary every Sunday, alongside an Astros player in the starting lineup. It could reach 84 degrees today. It's 81 right now, partly cloudy. Wind coming in at 8 miles per hour. Hazy day. That'll help keep it perhaps a little bit cooler as the Astros and Rangers play the final game of this series. The players and their moms joined in that ceremony on the field for the first pitch. It was Ruby Wright. You just saw her talking with Julia, Patty Grossman, Robbie's mother, Terrell Crow, and Patty Clemens throwing out the first pitch today. Bo Porter's mother is here, Beverly. Bo was raised by a single mom who is a cancer survivor. And she's been in remission. Went through the treatments in 2010. So it's a special day for Bo Porter as well as those players and others. And we wish you all the best on this Mother's Day. There's Julia's mom as we check the Texas Rangers starting lineup. Elvis Andrus is the shortstop and leadoff man. Leury Garcia gets the call at second base, batting second. It's Lance Berkman, the DH, hitting third. The cleanup man is third baseman Adrian Beltre. It's Mitch Moreland at first base, Craig Gentry in center field, David Murphy in left field, Robinson Chirinos the catcher, Leonis Martin in right field.
On the mound for the Astros this afternoon, right-hander Jordan Lyles, 22 years of age. He's 1-0 on the season, ERA at .450. He's made 2 starts, one against the Tigers and the other against the Angels, so he's faced some pretty good hitters and allowed 5 earned runs over the 10 innings of those 2 starts. Jordan Lyles, a guy who made 25 starts for Houston last year. Behind Lyles defensively, in the catching here this afternoon, Jason Castro. Around the infield, Chris Carter gets the start at first. Jose Altuve, Ronnie Cedeno, and Matt Dominguez around the infield. In the outfield, center fielder Brandon Barnes, flanked by Trevor Crow in right today. We've seen him in left. And J.D. Martinez gets the start in left.
Final game of the homestand for the Astros. They've won 2 and lost 7. The Rangers move on to Oakland next on their 9-game road trip. They are 3-2 so far. Rangers going for a sweep of this series, and they lead it off with Elvis Andrus. He has the pink bat and the pink sleeve as he gets this game started with a .257 average. No homers, 12 runs batted in for Elvis Andrus. He's hitting .227 against Houston pitching this year. Lyles delivers, and it's ball 1. Eric Cooper is the home plate umpire for this Mother's Day game. Lyles 0-3 lifetime against the Rangers. And that one also is out of the strike zone. It's 2 balls, no strikes to Elvis Andrus, who is 1 for 9 in this series. He's driven in runs in each of the first 2 games. That's in for a strike. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike. As Ash mentioned, Lyles with that 4.5 ERA, making his 3rd start with the Astros. He was thought by many to be in line for the 3rd starting spot coming out of spring training, but did not have a good spring. And regrouped at AAA Oklahoma City, where he was 2-2 with a 5.32 ERA before taking his spot in the Astros rotation. Working quickly, he throws, and it's ball 4. Andrus takes the leadoff walk.
He was close in that entire sequence around the corners, but just missing in the estimation of Eric Cooper.
Doug Brocail and Bo Porter watching as Lyles moves along to face Leury Garcia, switch hitting second sacker. Middle infielder type. He can play shortstop as well. He's 22 years old, from the Dominican Republic. He played Double-A Frisco last year in the Rangers system. He's hit .200 with a .250 on base average. He's had only 15 at-bats this year. Garcia has been in the minors for 5 years since signing as a free agent with this Ranger organization. There's strike 1. It's tough to get playing time when you've got Ian Kinsler ahead of you at second base and Elvis Andrus at shortstop in this Ranger organization. Altuve and Cedeno are set up to turn a couple. Bouncer to shortstop. Cedeno with the shovel. Out to big, very quick, but no double play. Well, he came flashing across that bag. Got something on the throw, but Garcia is speedy, and he beat the relay to first.
I thought also aiding in that possibility of getting the double play was a nice firm toss from shortstop by Cedeno. He didn't just lob one up over the bag. He seemed to sense the urgency on the play and got rid of this with a little pace on it. That's a nice effort on the double play. You're just not going to get Garcia, who moves down the line quite well on a ground ball, hit this slowly.
Boy, he sure does. Now former Astro Lance Berkman at 303 with 3 homers, 16 runs batted in. Has had 3 hits and 8 at bats, including a long ball against the Astros in this series, doing his usual damage here at Minute Maid Park. Homered in last night's 8-7 Texas win. Lance takes ball 1. He has that advantage of being a visiting player who's right here at home with his parents watching. Third in the league in on base average at .434.
I ran into the entire Berkman clan last night downstairs following the ball game, and they are thrilled that Lance is still playing and playing very well.
2 balls, no strikes, and he is 9 for 18 against Astros pitching this season. 1 homer, 4 runs batted in for Lance. He's hit safely in all 14 games as an opposing player at Minute Maid Park. And overall, a 17-game hitting streak at Minute Maid Park.
Yes, and Lance Berkman is still swinging it well. He got that chance left-handed late last night and just bombs one out to left center field. He's got tremendous power going the other way.
He's a .448 lifetime hitter against Houston. That's a strike, and it's 3-1 to Lance. Lance has walked 23 times. He has struck out 19 times. He will work the count and be a very disciplined hitter in almost every case. He's the all-time leader in this ballpark in hits, homers, runs, doubles, runs batted in. Out to left center field. There's a run for Barnes. Barnes way back, plays it off the wall. It kicks back, and it's played by the left fielder Martinez, and that'll make it 1-0 Rangers. On an RBI double by Berkman. 17th run batted in. And he loves that left center field area in this ballpark. It just suits his game.
Well, if Lance Berkman continues to swing it this way for the Texas Rangers, they are going to be very well served by this DH role. Because especially left-handed, and when on his game, Lance Berkman is one of the very best. They didn't get this one like last night's bomb up on the upper wall, but still hits it quite well. Just not going to be able to pitch from behind in the count against this Texas Rangers lineup, or most major league lineups for that matter.
Adrian Beltre is next. That's ball 1 to him. 241 for Beltre, 7 homers, 19 runs batted in, 2 for 9 with a homer in this series. The Berkman hitting streak at Minute Maid Park is now 18 games, dating back to July 26th of 2010. And he's 32 for 66 in those 18 games with 7 homers, 25 runs batted in. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's the second longest hitting streak in Minute Maid Park history. The only other player with a longer run is Joey Votto, who has an active 21-game streak. Line drive left field goes foul and out of play. So 1-2 count on Adrian Beltre.
Remember, it was the first inning for Jordan Lyles last time out, that against the Angels, when Mark Trumbull shot a 3-run home run out of here, and that was the only 3 runs that Lyles would allow in that start. So first innings right now plaguing him.
He did regroup, and those were the only 3 runs he gave up. Up the middle and on by Cedeno. Berkman broke back towards second. He'll make it to third on the ground ball single by Beltre. First and third, 1 out now.
Lance Berkman is begging that nobody shows this video of base running exploits right here. The rule, generally speaking, is if the ball is hit on the ground and you can make it behind you as a base runner, you go ahead and move forward. Lance chose another route.
Looking at that replay, yeah, it appeared that his fear was Cedeno was going to make the play behind him, and he couldn't get to third.
Please don't show that play.
Mitch Moreland comes up with men on at the corners. Moreland at 293 has 6 homers. He's driven in 14 runs.
Tell you what Lance may have done on that play, though, was shielded Cedeno from seeing the ground ball clearly.
He might have. That one gets away from Lyles. It's ball 1 to Moreland, who's 3 for 8 in this series. Lyles has 8 major league wins, 20 losses, and a 5.17 ERA. In the air to shallow left field. Ronnie Cedeno back, falling in front of J.D. Martinez for out number 2. We go back to that Leury Garcia beating out that double play relay. And then we saw his speed on the replay as he was not doubled up. And then we saw his speed as he scored on Berkman's ball. That's a big part of this inning. Greg Gentry coming up next at 238 has 1 homer. He's driven in 6. It's been ball 1 for Jordan Lyles to 4 of the first 5 batters.
Gentry, another one of the Texas Rangers who runs very well. They've got a nice blend of that speed you mentioned, the power they have on this club and have had for a long time. They're just not hitting with all that power this year to this point, and yet they're winning.
7th in runs scored. And yet they are 23 and 13. They have built a 5-game lead in the AL West. Only Oakland is as good as 500 besides Texas in this division at 19 and 19. And they're going to Oakland next. Gentry looks at it. It's ball 1. So if they do a job on the A's, they're looking very comfortable in mid-May in the American League West. But the Angels struggles. Gentry has been platooning in center field. That's in for a strike, and that makes it 1-1 for Lyles.
It's Lyles' fastball at 93 miles an hour consistently here in the first, and spotting it well on the edges, but he's missed a lot of those times close.
Of his 20 pitches, 10 have been strikes. Jordan is the 2nd youngest pitcher to start a game in the American League this season. 22 years old. Time call. The Astros have been outscored in the first inning of their games to this point, 42-22. David Murphy on deck. Bouncer. Altuve tracks it to his left with the flip over to Carter. And that holds the Rangers to 1 run on 2 hits. They leave 2 and they're up by 1.
Houston Astros. And a special happy Mother's Day to my grandmothers, Sama and Marge. And a big special Mother's Day to my mom, Terrell. Love you. Thanks.
And his mom was among the moms of Astros who threw out first pitches before the game. Now the Astros come up against Tepesh. Here is the lineup. It is Trevor Crow leading it off in right field. Carlos Pena batting second for the first time this season. He's the 8th different Astro to bat in the number 2 spot. He's the DH with Jose Altuve at second base, Jason Castro the catcher, Chris Carter at first base, J.D. Martinez in left field, Ronnie Cedeno at shortstop, Matt Dominguez at third base, and the center fielder Brandon Barnes against Nick Tepesh.
24-year-old Nick Tepesh. And Brownie wants you to know he's from Kansas City, Mo. And that means a lot to Mr. Brown. Tepesh, make that 2-3 on the year, 4.50 the ERA. Giving up just over a hit an inning.
He's from the Show Me State, Ash.
Well, he's going to show you right now. He faced the Cubs in Wrigley last time out and allowed 5 earnings in 4 innings.
That's not what he wants to show. 2 for 10. Trevor Crow takes that one. And it's a 2-ball, no strike count for Trevor, who's already hit his first home run as an Astro. He picked up an outfield assist last night. He's the 3rd different leadoff hitter for Bo Porter. That's in for a strike to make it 2-1. And Trevor showing some good abilities. Well, he's a first-round draft choice from years ago with Cleveland, but a guy who can put the bat on the ball well. He runs decently. Got that outfield assist. Knows the game. Balls and strikes.
We're always cautious about reading too much. Pardon me, I've got that same thing you have.
We both have that.
I'll jump on it in just a moment.
Okay. Take a break. Grab a lozenge. That's a hittable fastball. He fouls it away. Tepesh is a sinker ball pitcher, but he's been getting away from that pitch more in recent games. It has not been as effective for him. And you talked about those cricket numbers last start. 4 innings. 5 earned runs through 89 pitches in that game. He's walked 9 in 32 innings and fanned 22. Bouncer to shortstop. Cruising over to his left. Elvis Andrus, 1 out.
And the defense for the Texas Rangers. Robinson Chirinos behind the plate. Mitch Moreland at first base. Around the infield, Leury Garcia at second. Elvis Andrus and Adrian Beltre fill out the infield. In the outfield, Speed with Craig Gentry in center, flanked by Leonis Martin and David Murphy.
Carlos Pena selected for this number 2 spot in the lineup by Bo Porter because, well, he's walked 20 times. He sees a lot of pitches. He's hit .227 with 3 homers, 9 runs batted in, .338 on base average for Pena. It's a left-handed hitter with some power up there in front of Altuve. The shift, of course, is on, as it always has been for many years for Pena. There's strike 1. Pena's tied for second in walks with those 20. But it's unusual to see him in this number 2 spot. That's a strike, and it's 0-2 for Tepesh. Tepesh went to the University of Missouri. He was a 14th round pick of the Rangers in 2010. First minor league season was 2011 at Hickory. Last year he divided the year between Myrtle Beach and Frisco. Pretty quick climb to the big leagues by this 24-year-old righty. That's a looper, and that's over the shift and into right field for a hit. But Pena on the 0-2 count finds an opening there for hit number 1 for the Astros.
Hey, you're talking about Pena being in that number 2 spot in the order today, and it is odd with Carlos, but he's a guy that's comfortable getting deep into the count. He often gets there, and that may provide a chance for Trevor Crow, who had 11 stolen bases at AAA, to do some running.
Yes, it might. Jose Altuve is the batter. He drove in his 18th run of the year last night with a sac fly. He's 4th in batting average at .336 in the American League with 2 homers. He's driven in 18 and 1 for 7 in this series as the Rangers have slowed down his assault. He has 50 hits. That's number 51, a shot into left center. Oh, David Murphy came over and took it away from him. Murphy reached down and snagged it. Looked like a hit all the way until Murph reached down and speared it for out number 2.
David Murphy says, not on my watch. That is a heck of a play. Now, he's not a burner. with the wheels, but great jump on this line shot. That pink bat's got some thump in it.
Well, he closed on that one. Remember, he banged his back into that left field wall last night. He was down for a while.
It looked like a gapper for sure.
Excellent play by Murphy, the Houston native. Now Jason Castro comes to the plate. That's a big lift for Tepesh on a hard hit ball. Castro takes it. It's ball one to a 248 hitter with 2 homers, 7 runs batted in. And he's in the top 10 in doubles in the AL with 11. He is 0 for 19 against the Texas Rangers this year. Chris Carter on deck. Out to the second sacker. Garcia gobbles it up. And it's out number 3. It's 1-0 Rangers after 1.
Second, just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Some roster moves today for the Astros. Philip Umber designated for assignment. Bo Porter said today that they kept trying things with him. Nothing was working, though. He couldn't get it turned around. Travis Blackley said on that note, I've been designated. Lots of us have. We just hope he can turn it around. At the same time, Edgar Gonzalez is back, going 3-1 last year, 5.04 ERA. Lots of high fives and hugging as he entered the clubhouse today. He said he couldn't believe it when he got the call from his agent. And he told Bo Porter, I am ready to go today, guys.
It happened quickly for Edgar. David Murphy leads it off here in the second inning, taking ball 1. He's on a 6-game hitting streak, 6 for 16 during that stretch.
Sounds like
still below 200.
Sounds like Edgar was loose before getting off the plane, huh?
Yeah. 2 balls, no strikes to Murphy. Murph always seems to rise to the occasion when playing here. He's hit .345 in his career against the Astros. He's 3 for 4 with a homer against Jordan Lyles, and he lets that one go, and it's 3-0. So Lyles having a major problem here, throwing strike 1 in this game. 3-1 to Murphy. But he escaped further damage after the Berkman double. Beltre singled. He got Moreland and Gentry. It could have been a crooked number in that first. To Hopper, over to Altuve, and he escaped that one after falling behind Murphy 3-0 to get him on a 3-1 ground out. After a 21 pitch first, Jordan Lyles showing improvement against right-handed batters this season. Batting average down from 300 last year to 167 by right-handed hitters. And slugging percentage is way down as well, from 518 to 278. Strikeout percentage far ahead of where it was a year ago against right-handed hitters for Lyles.
I think we always want to be cautious about reading too much into numbers in a brief span. What I'd be concerned about was after 25 starts last year, the numbers that showed up in that span.
Robinson Chirinos is up for the first time as a Texas Ranger. 295, 2 homers, 14 runs batted in at AAA Round Rock. He was formerly with the Tampa Bay organization. And just recalled Friday when A.J. Pierzynski went on the disabled list. Chirinos, 28 years old. He missed all of last season. He had a spring training concussion and did not play last year after having 55 at-bats for the Tampa Bay Rays in 2011. And that's flipped foul and into the seats for a 1-ball 2-strike count. Pierzynski was off to a nice start for the Rangers. And somebody who catches quite often, Giovanni Soto, was the backup when the season started. He caught the first 2 games of this series. Chirinos began his career in the Chicago organization, Cubs. He was born in Venezuela. Converted to catcher in 2009. A lot of people have to be converted, Ash.
That's a tough conversion, though.
That's a line shot. He gets his first hit as a Ranger. It's into the right field corner. Picked up by Crow. And it's a double for Chirinos.
Well, when you can swing the bat like this, and I'm not convinced yet this is the routine for Chirinos, but if you can swing it that style, well, you've got a chance of doing a lot of catching. Look at this pretty piece of hitting. Hanging curveball and just wait on it, see it all the way, and then drive it on a line. This job by the ball boy down the right field side. Watch this agility.
Ooh. That's double number 2 for the Rangers in this game. They had a flurry of extra base hits last night. Leonis Martin is the batter. Martin takes a look at that one, and it's ball 1. At 262, he has 1 homer, 4 runs batted in. Now Castro goes out to talk with Lyles. Runner at second now, as was the case with Berkman back in the first inning. Long series of signs. 31 pitches, and it's a struggle for Jordan to hit that strike zone today.
Really curious where Castro's going with this conversation. Is it A, you're falling behind everybody, and that's going to cause enormous problems for you, or is it B, that discussion about signs with the man at second base?
Been behind 7 of the first 9 batters. Martin came up with a 2-run pinch triple last night. He rolls this one out to second base with the runner advancing to third. Altuve over to Carter. 2 outs.
MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At bat delivers Stros baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Astros.com for your details.
Elvis Andrus is the batter. He led off the game with a walk. Rangers hitters have struck out the fewest times in the majors. There's strike 1 for Jordan Lyles. The Astros hitters have struck out the most in the majors. Rangers hitting .250 with runners in scoring position. Little chop goes foul first base side for an 0-2 count to Elvis Andrus. Rangers were 5-1 against the Astros last year. They've won 14 of their last 17 at Minute Maid Park. Yu Darvish was the winner last night, although he had some nervous moments in the 9th inning when the Astros scored 3 times, and win number 6 was on the line for him before they closed it out with Joe Nathan getting the save. 8-7 Texas. Foul back. But the fact that Nathan had to pitch in that game, as Michael Kirkman was unable to get an out in the 9th inning and gave up a single and a double, means that Nathan probably is not available today. Leori Garcia on deck. Altuve over to Carter again, and they make all 3 plays for outs in this inning. It's no runs a hit. Another runner stranded at third for the 2nd straight inning. 1-0 Texas.
Bottom of the second here at Minute Maid Park. Rangers on top 1-0. The Astros Foundation presents Picnic in the Park Sunday, June 16th. Join Astros players on the field after the 1:10 game for a player autograph session, free picnic blanket, and a terrific cookout. Get your Picnic in the Park tickets today by calling 713-259-8851 or visit astros.com/picnic. It's a lot of P's.
Yeah, great day for a picnic. Sunday, June 16th. You didn't pop your P's either. You handled it.
Way to alliterate.
Very professionally. She's a professional broadcaster, Ash.
She certainly is.
Ball one to Chris Carter. Professional hitter. 226, 8 homers, 19 runs batted in. That's in the air, and the center fielder, Gentry, is positioned underneath it. For out number 1. Tepesh needed only 12 pitches to get through the first inning, giving up the hit to Pena. Altuve hit the dog out of a ball, but it was caught by Murphy. So there was some luck there for Nick. He's now settling in a little bit. He moves along to face J.D. Martinez. Martinez had 218 with 2 homers, has 7 runs batted in. And this is his first plate appearance in this series. Just came back last week from a right knee sprain. That's strike 1. He was at Corpus Christi for a 5-game rehab stint. Drove in 5 runs in those 5 games. Tepesh is off the plate with that one for a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Rangers starters have a 3.40 ERA. That's second best in the American League. Darvish went 7 last night. Ogando went 5 2/3 Friday night. That's a foul ball. And it's 1-2. Well, the Astros hit the road after this game, headed for Detroit. Bud Norris goes tomorrow night in game 1 of a 6-game road trip. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count to J.D. Martinez. So that means Jeff Blum joins Ash on the road starting tomorrow night.
He's packing as we speak.
Oh, yeah. Gold Porters Club will take on the high-flying Tigers and then the Pittsburgh Pirates. Check swing call goes against the Astros. Strikeout number 1 for Tepesh.
Let's see if that was a bit harsh. Yeah, the bat got out there. You always feel like as a hitter, you can see that head shake from Martinez. You feel like you don't go through. Then you go watch the replay and it tells another story.
Tepesh has 2 outs here in the second inning. Now it's Ronnie Cedeno back. 314 for Ronnie, 1 homer. He's driven in 8 with a 345 on base average. He is 2 for 6 against the Rangers this season. That's strike 1 to Ronnie. Marwin Gonzalez has been the shortstop for the first couple of games of this series. Marwin has done well. Had 3 hits, drove in a run in his 2 games. Elvis Andrus makes a smooth throw over to Moreland for a 1-2-3 second for Tepesh and a 1-0 lead for the Rangers.
mundo. Espero que pasen un buen día, que se lo merecen.
Happy day, and we see a lot of mothers out here, families enjoying Mother's Day at Minute Maid Park. And there's that picnic in the park coming up. What was it, June 16th, right, Ash?
Yeah, I believe that's the date.
As we work toward Father's Day next. It's 1-0, and Lyles has thrown 36 pitches in 2 innings. Tepish has thrown 21. There's strike one, and that could be a reversal of trend here for Jordan. It's Garcia batting. Garcia beat out a double play ball and scored on the Berkman double in the first inning. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
I'll just go ahead and speak to Diane for you. Bill's going to be needing a blue Father's Day tie.
There was a flurry of activity as a lot of us realized we didn't have any pink to wear this week. 2 balls and a strike. Bo Porter said he went shopping. He said, "You're not going to see me out there again until probably December."
So he's got his Father's Day tie. That implies.
Well, he went for Mother's Day stuff.
I hope he wasn't short-sighted.
Let's hope not. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A lot to think about for a major league manager. Let's see. We've got the starting pitching thing, and then the relief work. The running game. Got to work out the players, get the infield all set, and there's Mother's Day shopping.
I'm going to put a crimp in your style. We're going to work on this today, and oh man, I forgot my tie.
Inside, it's 3-2. Well, it's kind of a theme trip for you guys, Ash, with pink being mandated for everybody in the traveling party, either a shirt or a tie in pink.
I hope Blummer's wearing a pink tie.
Let's hope. That's cracked on the ground, on through to center field. Lyles tried to grab for it. Garcia's on with a leadoff single. He might be running. Rangers are aggressive with their running game.
Very much like the arm and delivery of Jordan Lyles. Type of delivery and body type you could really see standing up as a starter for a long time. Commanding that strike zone, to me, is a huge key in the limited chance I've had to see him.
Lance Berkman drove in a run with a double to left center field in the first inning. It's strike one for Lance. This is the Rangers' second trip already to Houston. Even though Lance, with his hit earlier in this game, is 4 for 9 in this series, he had hit only .217 in his last 8 games prior to coming to the plate in the first. So he's perked up quite a bit here this weekend. 8 for his last 15 against Houston pitching. That's not close, and it's 1-1.
Not every quarter mile in that marathon is going to be run, I guess, at the same speed, and that's kind of what happens over the course of a long season.
Lance is the all-time slugging leader in Astros history, 549 for his 11-plus years in a Houston uniform. Broke in '99 in the Astrodome as an outfielder. Throw over first. He is second in homers on the all-time Houston list with 326. Third in runs scored and doubles. Third in runs batted in. An illustrious career. It's 1-2. And he greeted Craig Biggio on the field Friday night before game 1 of this series. Bidge is getting ready to coach another big playoff game for St. Thomas this week. They'll be playing in Waco.
I hope he doesn't have to worry about the whole tie thing.
Let's hope not. Ooh, that's pretty close. Garcia back in head first ahead of the Carter tag. Well, this time of year, Ash, we've got high school playoffs, we've got college regionals.
A lot going on.
That was close.
Certainly was. Even with the right-handed first baseman. It's this glove. Does he get it on there before the hand? He might have.
Really close. The runner's going now. Here's a throw from Castro, bouncing and on through into center field. Garcia pops up and heads for third. And it'll be a stolen base and an error on the catcher, Castro. And Castro's second error of the year, but you know, ideally the middle infielder stops that ball from going through.
What winds up happening is that quick snap with the glove. Can I grab it real quickly, maybe apply a tag? Although the glove was going the wrong direction upward, you never get a guy that way. But Garcia, watching him run, he's quick on his feet.
He is. That's his first steal, his first attempt of the year. And now he's at third with nobody out. 2-2. Managers love it when that happens. Get a guy from first to third with nobody out. That puts Lyles under pressure. He has stranded 2 runners at third base in the first 2 innings already. Infield is laying back, so the Astros will concede the run unless it's hit to Dominguez. Berkman fouls it back. And Berkman, of course, through all his years, has been such a good RBI man. So he is at 2 strikes in the count. That's a negative, but there are many more things he can do to drive in this run without getting a hit. So contact is his primary concern right now. It's 3-2 to Berkman.
Mother's Day is always an intriguing day with the guys using the pink bats, and then if you have a big day with the pink bat, then you've got to stay with that, and so you're contacting the bat company. And you know, I would like that next order in pink, and it's just it's one of those amazing carryover days.
It's a lot to worry about.
It is.
Well, this is what Lance does so well. He hit a bullet into the dugout. Not that, but just staying alive with 2 strikes in the count. Well, it's so important when you're trying to drive in that runner from third. If you can't do much with a pitch.
Well, this will wake up a team right here.
That pitch had good movement on it.
Yes, it did.
Moved right into the Rangers dugout, in fact. Beltre is on deck. And here it is again. It's just tough to finish off a good hitter, isn't it, sometimes?
Lance Berkman from, again, this left side of the plate, for me, is just one of the best. And he doesn't try to pull you all the time. He can, and he will when he gets that particular pitch, but it's going to go right out toward left center field is kind of where the stroke is laid out to drive the ball.
This will be the 10th pitch to him. He bounces it, and that'll get the runner home. And nobody at first if Lyles doesn't get there, but he does. It's 2-0 Texas. Berkman picking up his 17th run batted in. And the play goes from Altuve to the pitcher Lyles. 4-1 for out number 1.
And picking up out number 1 is actually on a fine play by Altuve, combining with Lyles. This is not an easy play when it's all said and done. Digging all the way on the outfield grass, spin, try to throw and hit a pitcher on the move. Well done.
That second baseman is doing a lot of great things this year. Berkman did get his contact. He got the RBI on the ground out. And now it's Beltre. Altuve has been roaming all over that area between first and second, making plays from behind second, leading in double plays among second basemen. There's strike 1 to Beltre. It has been a phenomenal year to start. First 37 games for Altuve. And he's become a leader on this team too. By example. That's cracked deep to center field. Barnes headed way back toward Taos Hill. Way back up on the hill, and that hits about 430 feet away. Beltre wants to stop at second now. And that's a long double. Looked like he had ideas of going to third, but he stays at second with double number 7.
We've seen multiple balls up on Taos Hill here in the series. That is a bolt to hit it that far. That's, you feel like, man, I crushed this ball, and it stays well within the confines. just leaving some pitches in that hitting zone. And again, falling behind on hitters. Stuff is good. Command that strike zone.
Beltre's 2 for 2. That's 5 hits for the Rangers now. Mitch Moreland has a man at second base and 1 out. Moreland popped a shortstop earlier. In tight, ball 1. Lyles missing again by a pretty good margin there. Rangers 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They're hitting .250 as a team. That's not great. And they would like to see an improvement in their situational hitting. Beltre dancing off second. And Moreland backs away. You know, the feeling from talking to some of the Rangers personnel is they can do better offensively than what they've done to this point. And part of it is they've played more games on the road, 21, than at home, 15. And they hit so much better at home. Fouled, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Sometimes when you make those self-assessments, though, you take for granted things that are going well. Like, for instance, the great pitching, best ERA in the league. And, you know, there's no assurance you can continue to pitch that way. So while one thing gets better, sometimes other aspects of the game slide.
Good point. It's in for a strike, and it's 1-2 for Jordan Lyles. This is the end of the longest homestand of the year, 10 games. The Astros will be on the road for a week and then come right back home. It's a shot knocked down by Lyles. He takes a look at the base runner at second, throws to first very quick. That was a bullet by Moreland, and he's retired for out number 2.
This isn't one of those shots back to the box that you think was hit hard and maybe wasn't centered up. This is a rocket, and very fortunately right at the glove. Man, terrific reaction nonetheless, but I would say quite fortunate that ball is on the glove side.
Boy. How long do you think it took that ball to get from the barrel of the bat to his glove?
I was just thinking I was going to come up with one that was good. The great U.S. Olympic swimmer that won the one race, coming from behind by what, 100th of a second or whatever. About that. Michael
Phelps.
Phelps, yes.
Took 1/3 of a second, we're told. They timed it in the truck. 60 pitches now for Lyles. It's ball 1 to Gentry. Gentry grounded out earlier. 1/3 of a second is all the time Jordan Lyles had to react on that.
Well, those guys are good. They have the stopwatch out when that pitch was thrown.
They have the timer running all the time.
It's great stuff.
Constantly running. They can tell you that this game has been underway for 50 minutes. What else do you want to know?
I'm getting inundated with info here.
Too much.
I'm told 10 frames is what it required, and that's exactly 1/3 of a second. Paul is on the money down there.
So in 1/3 of a second, his brain had to try to process where that baseball was going to be. He had his glove pretty close to that point, but still had to move it some in 1/3 of a second. There's a line shot to center field. Charged by Barnes. Beltre coming home. The throw on through, not in time. 3-0 Texas. And another well hit ball. Gentry picks up his 7th run batted in. There's some loud sounds coming from the Rangers bats here in the 3rd inning.
What was the old line that came from the Pittsburgh Pirates 1979, I want to say, or the early 80s? If you're hearing some noise, it's just me and the boys bopping.
Didn't hear that one. Okay, well, it was the old Lumber and Lightning crew. Beltre scores. Now David Murphy is the batter. He rolled out to second in the 2nd inning. 3-0 Rangers. Murphy looks at it. It's strike one. Rangers have outscored the Astros in the season series 28-17. And they have won 4 out of 5 so far. Throw to first, and the runner gets back. Gentry. Gentry is 5 for 6 in stolen bases. A lot of players wearing pink in some form or another. Murphy takes a look at it. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to David.
See that movement on that last pitch, sliding off the plate, but the type of movement, if you can command totally, can make you awfully effective. You watch Philip Umber, and his stuff stands up. Just lack of command in the zone.
Chirinos is on deck. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Astros starting pitchers have been doing well in terms of ERA the last time through the rotation. It's a deep drive to right field, headed for the foul pole, and that one is a 2-run line drive homer by David Murphy. Number 4 for Murphy. And the Rangers just keep on slugging balls here at Minute Maid Park. That is a 5-0 lead as Murphy now has 11 runs batted in. In a 30-pitch inning for Jordan Lyles.
David Murphy has been swinging it well since being inserted late last night as a pinch hitter. Just simply a line shot that gets out.
Now Doug Brocail comes out with a score of 5-0. That's 7 hits for the Rangers today. And they are really looking to be on their game.
Well, this version of the Texas Rangers offense is probably closer to what they view themselves as offensively than what they've done so far on the season.
Yeah, this could be a game to get them rolling in their minds offensively.
Hey, sports fans, join the Texans' Owen Daniels at Lucky Strike on May 20th for his Kingpin Classic. For more information, visit owendaniels.org.
Robinson Chirinos, the batter, he had a whirlwind weekend, called up from AAA Round Rock, and he had to get in a devious way on Friday, so to speak. There's ball 1. He was out west, and bad weather in Houston canceled 2 flights from Las Vegas as he was with Round Rock, so he had to fly to Dallas and drive in with some Rangers officials, and then they ran into Houston traffic. So he got here Friday night about 6:15, less than an hour before the first pitch, to join this club. Lyles has been behind in the count to 11 of the first 16 batters. 2 balls and a strike. A contrast for these two clubs in the rotation. 217 innings have been pitched by the Rangers starters. 180 innings pitched by the Astros starters. Foul ball takes a count to 2-2. 70 pitches into the game for Lyles. Edgar Gonzalez did arrive, as Julia reported, for this game. Bo Porter welcoming him back to the Astros clubhouse. He had been with the Toronto Blue Jays and then was released, and so he was a free agent, and the Astros signed him yesterday. They saw him on that waiver wire, and he was able to get here today, and that was a factor. 3-2 now to Chirinos. 71 pitches for Lyles, and that's strike 3. In the third inning, the Rangers hang a 4 spot on Lyles. They put together 4 hits, and they lead it 5-0.
And the Astros will return to Minute Maid Park May 20th through May 28th. The homestand will feature matchups against the Kansas City Royals, Oakland A's, and Colorado Rockies. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com to get your tickets now. Let's go to the booth with Brownie and Ash. You have a special guest.
We have Meg Valancourt, Senior Vice President of Community Relations of the Astros and Executive Director of the Astros Foundation. She came to us a few months ago from the Red Sox. Very happy to welcome her to run the foundation. And you've got a big event coming up, Meg.
Yes, we do. It is Picnic in the Park. For those who had missed Mother's Day and forgot, here's a great chance to make up to Mom. Oh, it's a twofer. Make up to Dad, too.
Okay.
And it's Picnic in the Park on Father's Day on June 16th.
All right. That's strike one to Matt Dominguez.
Is it a good thing to actually acknowledge that you forgot to do something for Mom on Mother's Day?
I think what you can say is it's a family affair. And you planned it.
That's the way to do it.
You're efficient and you're doing good for your mom and dad and doing great for the Urban Youth Academy, which will benefit.
Oh, nice. Big night last night for this young man, Matt Dominguez. 2 home runs off Yu Darvish. That's a historic occasion. This time, a 3-pitch strikeout. And as we look forward to that game, the picnic will start 45 minutes after the conclusion of the game of the White Sox and Astros at 1:10 on the 16th. It takes a few minutes to set up the field, right?
Exactly. And what it includes is a 45, actually an hour-long autograph session.
Oh.
Children's games, run the bases, face painting, inflatables, a terrific cookout out on the field. We'll give you a free blanket. You don't have to bring one.
Okay.
Air-conditioned picnic here in Texas, my first.
Well, we have to have that. Brandon Barnes with strike one. That's a very involved fundraiser that's coming up. A lot of work going into that. And how many players do you think will be there?
Oh, I think the entire team will be there.
Oh.
Yes, Bo and Jeff have talked to them. I've talked to them, and you know what's great? This team is a really serious charitable champions.
Yeah.
They understand that part of being an athlete, professional athlete in this day and age, is to do charitable work, and each one of them has understood that from the top down, from Jim, who made it very clear at the beginning of the season.
Meg, I understand that may be a tax-deductible ticket you purchased that night.
Exactly. So it's a win-win-win. Your family has a great time. Your mom, your dad, since it happens to be on Father's Day, and you get a tax deduction, and you're supporting the Urban Youth Academy run by the Astros Foundation, which supports free youth baseball for at-risk kids.
No way to lose, then.
No way to lose, exactly. And, you know, when do you get a chance to take a picnic out in the outfield of Minute Maid Park?
Never heard of it, actually.
I think it's a first.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the idea?
Well, I must admit, in my career at the Red Sox, when I was head of the foundation there and a vice president there, we did Picnic in the Park at Fenway Park, and it was a phenomenal success. In fact, we had to cap the number of people who could attend. And I knew the Texans are as generous as any other community. In fact, I think they're number one when it comes to charity.
Strikeout on a foul tip. That's number 3.
Now, I heard you mention, sorry, Brownie, that this might be an air-conditioned picnic. Are you anticipating the roof being closed?
Well, I'm not anticipating it, but since this is my first season with the Astros, and I'm looking forward to what summer here is in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
We felt it was important to reassure fans that you can have an air-conditioned picnic. And for me, I'm thrilled about that.
Just a dose of realism.
Well.
And also I'll say it makes sure that no rain out either.
Maybe we'll get a cold front. Who knows? But yeah, you got to plan on that. Got to plan on that, don't you? There's strike one to Trevor Crow. So $100 for adults, 15 and over, and $25 for kids 6 through 14.
And kids who are under 6 get to come for free because we want to make it a family affair. And as I say, think about Dad. He has enough ties. You've taken him to enough steakhouses. This is once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come and have a picnic in the outfield, throw catch. What could be better? Spend it with your family. Treat your front office. We've got some sponsorships available, too.
You guys have some auction items going on?
Great auction items that are going to be offered by the players. Actually, they're offered by their wives, who, of course, we know really are in charge.
It's where the good always comes from.
So you can email picnic@astros.com. Or call 713-259-8851.
It's also on the web now at astros.com/picnic.
Well done.
That is terrific. Well, thanks for bringing your successful idea from Boston to Houston, and may we have many more, and kind of a groundbreaking event coming up here on the 16th. So I know a lot of people want to be among the first to do that picnic in the park.
I'm trying to envision where the hot spots of grass might be. How about Towles Hill? Are you going to have a run on Towles Hill?
We might, actually, because we're going to have some musical entertainment.
Sleep on the incline?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're going to have a band out there?
We're going to have a band out there. We're going to have lots of games. We're going to, be able to have every player signing autographs, some alumni who will take pictures with you. So it is a time for the whole family. And as I say, it benefits the Urban Youth Academy. So
yeah, that's an outstanding idea and should go over very, very well.
What type of music do you have?
We have a band that is more country western, but contemporary.
There you go,
it'll be
Brownie.
really fun.
Alan plays the guitar, Meg.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should invite you on for.
You know what? I think you are right on the right course already.
Oh, now you could do a little air guitar here so that we could see it.
That's right.
It's about what I'm best at.
We won't even do that. Well, thank you very much,
Thank
Meg
you.
Valancourt.
Thank you. Please join us at astros.com/picnic and learn more for Father's Day.
Will do.
Thanks a
June
lot,
16th.
guys. Thank you.
Welcome back. Top of the fourth here. I am with a very special mom, Terrell Crow, joining me, mother of Trevor Crow. She comes from Oregon. And I wanted to ask you what it was like to take part in all the activities today as for Mother's Day, the first pitch, everything like that. What was that like?
It was such an honor, very emotional, and just really excited to be here and have Trevor be an Astro.
Is Trevor a good Mother's Day gifter, and what did he get you?
Trevor is a really good gifter, and this was a special Mother's Day. I'd say not so much Mother's Day. He's really good at Christmas.
Well, enjoy the ball game, and we might have more for you later.
Thank you.
Guys, back up to you.
Hey, Julia, I have a question for her.
Okay.
How did she arrive at the name Trevor?
How did you arrive at the name Trevor?
Well, it's a funny story because my husband played golf, and his best friend playing golf was named Conrad Niedermeyer, and so he wanted to name Trevor Conrad, and I said, no way. So we argued, and then we finally settled on Trevor. Yes.
Good, strong name. But I like her name, too. It's Terrell. It's a beautiful name.
Yeah.
I really wanted something unique. So.
It is.
How many people flinch when they hear that name thinking maybe it's Sheryl Crow?
Oh, yeah.
They're saying your name sounds like Sheryl Crow.
Yes,
you've never heard that
I've
before.
never heard that before, no.
No, I'm sure.
Well, she can break out into song if she should choose on this Mother's Day. But she might be on the other end wanting to be entertained rather than entertained. That's bunted, and it's bunted perfectly by Elvis Andrews. That's a bunt single after the hit by Martin. The Rangers are back at it again. This time they have 2 speedy runners on and nobody out in the 4th inning. By the way, Trevor's father David, as Harold mentioned, played on the PGA Tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
David Crow.
Boy, is this a good bunt. If you want to lay one down for a base hit, no need to alter anything on that one. Nice and soft. Keep it on the grass. Beautiful stuff.
Now runners at first and second for Leury Garcia, who is 1 for 2. He has scored 2 runs. He's stolen a base. And a rare start, giving Ian Kinsler a day off. Smacks a line drive. He does it again. Here's the go-ahead, and the throw from right field, cut off. Throw to third base, not in time there. It's 6-0 as Garcia drives in his first. Martin scoring, and Andrus going first to third on the hit.
Yeah, some of the things that went so right last time out for Jordan Lyles turning the other way here this afternoon. There have been some loud sounds coming off the bats of these Texas Rangers. You could see Trevor Crow with that arm, and he has shown us a good arm. The fact that he keeps this down where Chris Carter can cut it and try to get an out at third base, a big positive.
Sure was. And Andrus was able to beat that tag by Dominguez. Now Lance Berkman batting. He's driven in 2 with a double and a ground out. That's a balk. Lyles did not throw the baseball, so he balks in Andrus to make it 7-0 and balks Garcia to second base.
Well, when you see the balk called after a lot of hitting going on, you can just about guarantee that something has gotten into the head of the pitcher.
Not sure why he didn't let go of the baseball there, but something was happening to prevent that in his mind. So it's 7-0 Texas. Berkman grounds it foul. Strike 1 to Lance.
I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher do that before.
I don't think I have.
Go through the delivery and then just stop. I don't really like what I'm seeing here.
And oddly, that's the first balk of his major league career. Very odd. Berkman takes a look at it. It's 1-1. Two balls, 1 strike to Lance. He rolls over on it. Carter with the toss to Lyles. Just barely beat it. Garcia to third, 1 out.
Gotta hand it to Lance Berkman. That was all-out effort going down the line.
Yeah.
Actually made the play quite close.
Now the infielders come in. It's Beltre batting. Beltre has a single and a double. So that was the second balk on the Houston staff this season. That's strike 1 with the infield in tight for Beltre. Astros will be facing some tough pitching in Detroit. Sanchez, Pfister, and Scherzer in that 3-game series. Elbow foul. 0-2. Anibal Sanchez tomorrow night brings an ERA of 1.97 to the mound. Doug Pfister 3.14. He's 4-1. Wednesday, Max Scherzer, 3.61. He's 5-0. Scherzer pitched here.
Really is not a soft spot in that rotation. And you can always kind of look and say, are we going to get Verlander and feel good when you don't? But the other guys are going to give you fits anyway.
You know, speaking of Verlander, John Blake, who's in charge of media relations of the Rangers, said the Rangers are going to get Verlander. And Yu Darvish is going to be his mound opponent.
Wow. There's one to jump in early on.
You bet. He didn't want the baseball. That's a rock toward the left field corner. It's hooking and it's foul.
Now these are tee-off swings right now for the Texas Rangers, and if you're Jordan Lyles, you have to be able to see that they're just getting one great swing after another. Location almost always plays a part in that. Ronnie Cedeno, the veteran shortstop. I imagine the message is something about that. If you're going to leave it up like that, there's no point in this group of infielders playing in.
Right. Moreland's on deck. And there's a shot into right center field to make it 8-0. Beltre hustles around first. He's not going to stop. Here's the throw from Barnes offline. RBI double by Beltre. He's 3 for 3. That's his 20th run batted in, and the Rangers go up by 8. Edgar Gonzalez has begun to get loose. Cole Porter's coming out. That'll buy some time for Gonzalez, and it's really perplexing here with Lyles having pitched well in his first 2 starts and just absolutely getting rocked today. 11 hits and 8 runs. He balked home a run. Even some of the outs have been hit hard, like the one Moreland lined back off his glove that turned into a 1-3 play in the 3rd inning. This is a tough outing as Gonzalez gets loose. He just arrived today, coming in to be a long man in this bullpen, which was his role earlier this season. And it would appear he's just moments away from being in this game. The score 8-0. Moreland's up for the 3rd time. He popped a short before that liner off the glove of Lyles.
I thought watching the first couple of hitters for Lyles this afternoon that he might have a solid day. 93 on the fastball. He was trying to spot right on the outside corner and just missing. And that kind of set up everything that followed, falling behind on the hitters and then being up in the zone.
Moreland takes a look at it, and it's ball 1. Eric Bedard gave up 2 runs in 5 innings last night. Dallas Keuchel 2 runs in 6 innings Friday night. So the Astros had been getting good starting performances in this series. 2 balls, no strikes. Lucas Harrell gave up 1 earned run in 5 innings Thursday night against the Angels. So this last trip through the rotation had gone well. It's 3 balls, no strikes. Philip Humber will be getting his release after going 0-8 with a 9.59 ERA, making 9 appearances, 7 of them starts. And there's a walk to Moreland. Season high for Lyles in pitches.
Time for our Geico quote of the day. And that quote here this afternoon: God could not be everywhere, and therefore he made mothers. It's our old buddy, one of your good friends, Rudyard Kipling.
Oh, Rudyard.
Yeah. I know you referred to him as Rudd as a buddy of yours.
Quite often.
Only because he didn't like going by yard.
Think Rudd ever went yard? It's 90 pitches now for Jordan Lyles. He was probably a cricket guy, right? Greg Gentry's 1 for 2, an RBI single. You ever try cricket?
No.
Think you ever will?
No, I don't see it happening.
Roller off the glove of Lyles. And he tosses underhand over to first base as the runners move along to second and third for out number 2.
I happen to be one of those guys who continues to push for speeding up baseball.
Well, you're going to have a lot of company. What would be your speed up measures in the game if you could institute them right now?
Well, I guess fundamentally some things have changed. The commercial breaks are a bit longer, but I do think you can keep batters in the batter's box by just acknowledging that we're going to tell the pitchers to throw to the plate, and we'll call the pitch despite where you may be standing at the time. And I think you can put some sort of a time limitation, maybe 12, 15 seconds, whatever the case may be, on a pitcher once he receives the ball back to throw a pitch to the plate. Now, it can't be done at all times with men on base and you have pickoff throws, but I really do think you can speed up the actual play of the game.
Now the intentional walk has been ordered to David Murphy after he took ball 1. And this will load the bases for Chirinos, and it will mean the Rangers will bat around in the inning. Murphy's aboard for the second time. Chirinos with a double to right, then struck out looking in the third. Chirinos was hitting .295 for Round Rock with 2 homers, 14 runs batted in 23 games. He can also play first base and third base if needed. Martin, who started the rally with a single to right, is on deck. Ball 1 up at 92. And Jordan had said, well, a few days ago after his last start, he was still working on trying to create more of a downward plane for his pitches. That one had more of an upward plane on it.
He does. He gets under a number of the fastballs and they just flatten out.
And Barnes turns around for that catch. The Rangers bat around in a 3-run 4th inning. On 4 hits, they leave 3, and they're up 8-0.
My wife, happy Mother's Day. You're the best. Whoa.
Welcome back. Bottom of the 4th. It's 8-0 Rangers. You never know what you might win, but here's how you can try. Just watch Sportsnet Central every night in May at 10 p.m. or after the game to learn our word of the night. Then log on to csnhouston.com for a chance to win cash, prizes, and more. Play Words on CSN every night in May, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Bottom of the 4th inning coming. It's 8-0 Rangers. It'll be Pena, Altuve, and Castro batting against Tepesh. And Tepesh has been spotted with this big lead. Rangers have banged out 11 hits. He has allowed one hit, a single by Pena, in the first inning. Carlos got an 0-2 pitch to his liking and lined it into right center field. Tepesch was drafted out of high school and then again after college. He delivers ball one. He's thrown 36 pitches through 3. Boston drafted him in the 28th round of the 07 draft. Then he went to college at Missouri and moved up to a 14th rounder in 2010. Foul ball back, makes it 1-1. Tepesch was the 5th starter in this Ranger rotation to open the season, but he did not open the season with the major league club. He had one minor league start before being promoted because of some off days in the Rangers schedule. They did not need him right away. Pitched at Omaha back on April 4th. Foul back, and it's a 1-2 count. There was a vacancy because of some injuries in their starting rotation. So that's why he's here. And long term, who knows if he'll be able to stick or not. His last 2 starts, he had an 8.44 ERA. Colby Lewis is trying to work his way back after surgery. That's a fly ball to left field. David Murphy coming over toward the line. And that's out number 1.
Been curious to see how things would go since the first inning for Tepesch, because so far this year, first innings he's been quite effective, and then it has unraveled quickly.
Jose Altuve was robbed by Murphy with a good running catch in left center field in the first inning. You see a lot of sliding catches these days by outfielders, but Murphy did not slide when he made that excellent snag to get Altuve, who takes strike 1. Curveball, and he lunges at it. No balls, 2 strikes to Jose.
You can't see every pitch perfect all season long, even the best of hitters.
Justin Grimm is another rookie starter who follows Tepesch in the current Rangers rotation. That's a roller to short. Andrews coming in, loves the ball and gets it. 2 outs.
That's the way you set up a hitter. Tough slider down and away. If he bites, now you've got him set up for the fastball on the hands, and Altuve got chewed up, or his bat certainly did.
Tepesch came into his kitchen. Castro rolled out to second in the first inning.
Yeah, there's something missing from the fridge right about now.
Yeah, he stole something. That wasn't one of those pink bats either, was it? There's ball 1.
Wonder if the pink bats burn well without any side effects.
It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Well, a lot of folks are probably getting back from brunch about now, Ash. It's a big tradition for many families on Mother's Day.
Nice crowd at the yard.
That's rock to right field. And that is a tour of the bases for Jason Castro, number 3. The Astros are on the board as Castro drives in his 8th with a line drive homer to right. His first hit against the Rangers after 20 at-bats.
He has been hitting so many balls to left field, especially in the air. Nice to see him turn quickly on this pitch. Looks like he got one up. Take a peek here. They tried to come in and left it up. It's a nice quick turn with the bat. Just a line shot.
Now Chris Carter looks at it. It's ball 1 after the Castro homer.
It was an interesting shot in the dugout. Teammates coming up, and it looked like they're probably posing that question. So what did you do to get to him? The Astros obviously have not been able to do that until that swing.
5th home run allowed by Tepesch this season. He's in his 36th inning. The count rolls to 3-0 on Carter. Carter's 1 for 15 against Ranger pitching this year. Tepesch is working on an extra day rest. Started on Monday against Chicago. Now a 4-pitch walk to Carter. Follows the home run by Castro. Well, last night the Astros trailed 8-3. And then they started working. They got a run in the 8th and 3 in the 9th to lose at 8-7. Tepesch takes a little walk before facing J.D. Martinez, who struck out in the 2nd inning. Porter's club really wants to keep playing hard right down to the end. 50 pitches now for Tepesch. The Rangers have some reinforcements on the way if they should need them in this starting rotation, which has been very solid this year. Ball 1 to J.D. Martinez. So their series at Oakland should be drawing a lot of interest coming up next, because of the way Oakland overtook them in the late stages of the season, beat them in the final day of the year. One hopper, Beltre. High throw off the glove of the second baseman Garcia into right field. Garcia was kind of airborne, trying to catch that in the air and land on the bag, and Beltre threw what seemed to be a catchable throw, but it just got away, and he draws the error. The third baseman, his 4th.
Adrian Beltre, after throwing this ball, and you can see he's saying the throw just kind of took off on me, but he stood with hands pointed upward from third base. Watch after this ball gets on by, and that is a tough catch for a second baseman trying to come to the bag, but hands up, just standing there like, what happened?
That is a tough play.
Yeah. You're trying to keep your eyes on the ball, obviously, and the bag at the same time. And so what's that all about?
And Carter kept going on to third base on the error by Beltre. 17th error by the Rangers this year. They've only allowed 7 unearned runs, though. Ronnie Cedeno has runners at first and third with 2 outs. He grounded to shortstop in the 2nd inning. Matt Dominguez is on deck. Ball 1 to Cedeno, with the Astros trying to put up a crooked number here and get back in this game in the 4th inning. So a fielder's choice, allowing Martinez to reach, and then the error on Carter, allowing Carter to take third. And Beltre, the error. Strike makes it 1-1. The Astros will accept any gifts the Rangers want to toss their way today. A game like this. Rangers got 1 in the 1st, 4 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, building up an 8-0 lead before the Jason Castro home. Now it's a 2-ball 1-strike count. And the Rangers will have rookie Justin Grimm going tomorrow night against A.J. Griffin in Oakland. And they have Derek Holland lined up for Bartolo Colon Tuesday night, and Alexi Ogando and Dan Straley will match up on Wednesday. It's 2 balls 2 strikes. The Rangers, with their 13-5 record against the American League West, are threatening to pull away here in the early going. That'll be their first meeting with Oakland this season. They've played every other team in the AL West. 4-2 against the Angels. They're 5-2 against Seattle. 4-1 against Houston. Cedeno is down on strikes. That's number 4 for Tepesch. Castro hit his 3rd home run, and it's 8-1 Rangers.
Mothers out there. Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, especially my mom, because she's the best.
8-1 Texas leads over the Astros. We want to remind you to tune in to Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score, but the experience.
Edgar Gonzalez is back with the Astros, and in his first day back, he is taking over in relief now as we go to the 5th inning. 3-1 last season with 5.04 ERA. Just signed with the Astros today, replacing Philip Humber on the pitching staff. After being with the Astros in spring training, he gets another opportunity to join the club. 8 runs on 11 hits for the Rangers off Jordan Lyles in his 4 innings of work. Martin is the batter leading it off here in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 2 and has scored a run. And ball 1 to Martin. Lyles walked a couple. One of those was intentional, and he had 1 strikeout. It's a 2-ball, no strike count for Edgar Gonzalez. He comes up and gets strike 1. 2-1 for Edgar. Astros relievers have won 1. They've lost 9 with a 5.24 ERA. Last night, Phil Humber worked 2/3 of an inning, allowing 5 hits, 5 earned runs. Then Jose Cisnero worked 3 1/3. He allowed 2 hits and a run. 3 balls, 1 strike for Edgar. And he gets a foul ball. It's 3-2 now.
Nice when you can throw that changeup on a 3-1 and throw it for a strike.
He feels that he can throw any pitch in any count. Edgar's 30 years old. He was born in Monterrey, Mexico. Came up with Arizona in 2003. Fly ball to right field. Trevor Crowe running out of room here, and that is another Ranger long ball. Martin hits number 2. It's 9-1 Texas. Second long ball of the day for the Rangers, and they're 8th in this 3-game series.
In 8 brief innings with the Toronto Blue Jays this season, he allowed 2 home runs, so that long ball has certainly been bothering him. Looked like he might have come change again, left it up right through the heart of the plate, and Rangers are feeling batting practice right about now. It's just been one of those days. You get some guys hitting it hard to start with, and everybody just chimes in.
This is one of those days. There's ball 1 to Andrus. He bunted for a hit in that 3-run 4th inning. But Martin, the number 9 hitter, is 2 for 3. He goes deep. That's a shot on the line to right center field for a hit. Barnes is over. And the Rangers have consecutive hits here to open the 5th inning. $13 hits for them in this game. A nice story on the Cruz boys graduating. Sons of Jose and Zoraida. They now are college graduates from Rice. Graduation day yesterday. Congratulations to Jose Jr. and Jose Enrique. Line shot to left field. And getting back up on his feet is J.D. Martinez after coming up with that one-on-one bounce. A hit for Garcia. Garcia now 3 for 4 in this game.
Well, the Cruz boys kind of had to do that. Their sister Shaki is a successful lawyer here in town.
Took it out to left field.
One line shot after another. Quite an effort by Martinez, and really one of those plays where you're all out and just in the end hope to keep the ball in front. No lack of effort at all.
No. Lance Berkman made it 1-0 back in the first inning on an RBI double. Grounded in to an out, but drove in a run in the third inning. He's 1 for 3. Strike one to Lance. Gonzalez signed with Arizona in 2000. Then he moved along to Oakland, Los Angeles, Tampa Bay, Colorado before Houston signed him. He pitched just a few times for the Blue Jays after the Astros let him go earlier this spring. No balls, 2 strikes. He came into a game a few days ago. Ricky Romero failed to go beyond 1 inning, and Gonzalez came in, pitched about 4 2/3 in relief, something like that day, as the long man for the Blue Jays. But then they cut their ties with him, and he became available again. It's a shot on the line. Barnes moving into center field to make that catch. Berkman lining out for out number 1.
Berkman got the double early, but since then has been handcuffed a bit and hits this one right on the money.
Beltre is 3 for 3. He's driven in a run. Gonzalez came to spring training with the Astros as a non-roster player, and he was 1-0 with a 1.80 ERA. He broke camp at the big league club, but then was designated for assignment April 5th. And the Blue Jays claimed him on waivers. Pitch outside, ball 1 to Beltre.
You know, the big league experience for Edgar in 116 games, 47 as a starter, has led to a .299 batting average against.
Big cut by Beltre.
The boys from Arlington, Texas are not getting cheated right about now.
They are not. You know, that's fine. That's fine, but people are taking note of that.
Yep.
And well, there might be an inside pitch at some point after that kind of a cut.
That's kind of carrying it beyond the code.
It really is. Fouls it back.
Now, I've expressed I'm not a huge believer in codes in general, but when you start airing out like that and dropping to a knee when you're already leading 9-1 in the 5th inning, probably considered beyond the norm.
Well, you might be expecting a little music of the chin variety at some point. But he drives this one high and way up to left center field. And that one is still in play. 1-run scoring as the throw comes back into the infield. It's a double for Beltre. And let's see if the umpires review this.
Ron Washington thinks they should.
Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief at third base. We'll hear it from Wash. As for now, it's an RBI double by Beltre. But it looks like Kellogg is explaining to him where the ball hit. And now they're going to confer, the umpires, on the infield, and they may review this. Beltre crushed that ball. Coming off the bat, it looked like it might have home run distance.
Looked like a breaking ball that stayed up, and he just waited and took another one of those huge swings.
It's going to be reviewed.
It's a pretty healthy swing right there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and again, it stays up. There's that drop to the knee swing. Either he's taking bigger cuts than normal, or Reggie Jackson has returned to the game, now hitting from the right side. I can't see the baseball.
No, it's very hard with that light background in this ballpark to see where the ball hit. Looks like it's hitting above the yellow line, if that's the freeze on it there. But it's very difficult to see.
Yeah, I believe from what we're getting, and again, it's very difficult for me to see right here, but I believe it's likely going to turn into a home run. There it is.
Okay.
There it is. Now we can see it. That says HR time.
Yes. Looks like the ball flattens out.
Yep.
Get it into that limestone pillar there. on the facade.
Yeah, to be fair to the umpires and everybody else, just really hard to see the baseball.
It's an extremely difficult call for them because of the light-colored baseball and the light-colored wall. And it's a homer. Beltre will get to take the tour, and it's a 3-run homer for him. Home run number 8. It gives him 4 runs batted in this game and 23 for the season. The Rangers get 3 long balls in this game, and this is the 3rd straight game, all in this series, in which they have hit 3 home runs.
Yeah, the 2 home runs now against Edgar, say 4 dingers on the year in less than 10 innings.
They have put on a display. 12 runs on 15 hits. Now Moreland's the batter. He's 0 for 2 with a walk.
In fact, in less than 9 innings.
There's a liner to right. Crow over. That's a bouncing hit to his left. And a single for Moreland. That'll bring up Gentry. Yeah, and you know, whether guys are swinging and going down on a knee or not, just the way they're taking these swings, the entire team today, 16 hits, 12 runs, would call for some inside offerings every now and then, just to loosen things up.
Everybody in that lineup with a knock.
I'm not talking about homicide or anything like that
No.
here.
No, but there's that ownership of some portion of the plate.
Ball 1 to Gentry.
I don't have a problem with anything the Rangers have done other than a couple of swings by Adrian Beltre, which certainly were extreme.
Grounded to shortstop. Cedeno with a toss to Altuve. 6-4-3. Double play. And here in the 5th inning, it's a 4-run frame, and it's 12-1.
TNT tweet of the game comes from Mr. Jeff Blum. We haven't seen him in a while, but we will soon. He tweets, "Happy Mother's Day to my mom. Without her love, support, dedication, things would have been very different." Plummer giving a little shout out there to his mom on Twitter. It's 12-1 Rangers here. And Matt Dominguez up to the plate for the Astros. First last night, coming off a 2-home run game, his first ever in his career. And I asked him, how'd you get to Darvish twice like that? He said, I just went up there thinking, hit a single. I think I'll try that again today, guys.
Oh, those are long singles. There's ball 1 as he leads it off here in the 5th inning. Well, that works. We'd like to see that a few more times. This fly ball heads for the center fielder, Gentry. And that's out number 1 for Tapish here in the home 5th inning.
Yeah, one thing I'll guarantee you is if you hit enough of those singles, you'll start swinging a little bit differently at some point.
Brandon Barnes, who struck out in the third inning, will be up next. Quite an impressive display today by the Rangers.
Yeah, it's kind of in that wow category.
12 runs on 16 hits, 3 long balls. Barnes looks at ball 1. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The Rangers hit a couple of home runs in their last game in Milwaukee as well, so they've been on a home run binge. That gives them 11 in the last 4 games, 9 in this 3-game series. 2 balls and a strike. They came into this game ranked 3rd in the American League in homers with 45. Barnes works the count to 3-1. There's a good story about him and his mother and their relationship also this weekend. He grew up in Southern California. Mom kept him involved with baseball. Foul ball back behind the dugout, 3-2, and then along the minor league trails with those 8 minor league seasons, I believe it was, to Brandon. Mom kept encouraging and reassuring him sometimes when he didn't want to keep it going. A happy fella. Strikeout for Tepesch. That's number 5.
What makes a man happy at the ballpark?
Oh,
use that hat for good purposes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you're a hero with all your fellow fans.
Yes.
Except for the one that was going to catch the baseball legitimately.
Yeah. Stylish catch in the cap. Trevor Crowe grounded out in the first and again in the third innings. Crowe takes a look at it, and it's ball 1 to Trevor. Jared Cosart is pitching for Oklahoma City with a 4-0 record and a 2.18 ERA. That's a night game. 1 ball, 1 strike. They'll be pitching tonight against the Salt Lake Bees. Oklahoma City 22-13. They had an 11-game home winning streak that was snapped last night. It's a 2-ball, 1 strike count. What do you like to do in the Motor City, Ash?
Oh, I don't know. We're going to be staying out of town this time.
Liner to left. Sounded like a broken bat for Trevor Crowe. He's aboard with 2 outs.
I like him from the left side of the plate.
Yeah.
Seems to see, and I was going to say the first time he came to the plate when I was so rudely interrupted by my own throat, that on breaking balls, he stays with it really well and hits line drives. Looks like a guy who sees the baseball well. Don't like to make assessments too quickly, but in that quick assessment, it just looks like a guy that can handle that leadoff spot and see breaking pitches.
Okay. He's aboard for Pena. Pena singled in the first inning, and then he hit a fly ball to left his second time up. The Astros have been out hit 16-3 today, each club with an error. Rangers shifting around. This fly ball heads foul. Strike for Pena.
I'll tell you, there's one good experience in downtown Detroit, and that's the ballpark itself. They have a nice yard. They bring in very nice crowds. Good experience.
They are a very strong team again this year. We saw that when they were here a few days ago.
And they have 5 guys within walking distance.
5 guys. Is that a pizza place?
That's the burger joint.
Oh, okay.
You haven't been won over yet.
No. Ground ball goes foul. 0-2. You anticipate more than one trip to 5 guys?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that it's going to happen. A couple of night games and a day game. Could happen with that day game. Found a little joint there for breakfast. $5. And they just give you a pile of eggs and potatoes and ham.
For $5?
$5. You wouldn't believe it.
Pena strikes out. That's the 5th inning. Strikeout number 6 for Tepesh. And through 5, it's 12-1 Rangers.
As we go to the 6th, come out to Minute Maid Park May 25th for our annual Bayou Bash presented by Louisiana Association of Convention and Visitor Bureaus with a special thanks to Budweiser. First pitch against the A's is at 6:10, but come out early for the live music, crawfish, and more. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS to get your tickets now.
You have given us lots of reasons, Julia. Look forward to that one. Here's the 6th inning, and now David Murphy leads it off. He homered in the 3rd. And this time he pokes a line drive to left. J.D. Martinez over. 1 pitch, 1 out for Edgar Gonzalez. They'll bring up Robinson Chirinos.
Not sure the Rangers hitters are using round bats today. Everything's a line drive.
They are squaring up so many balls in this game. Tigers lead the Indians 3-2 in Detroit. They're in the top of the 9th right now. You'll be going over your Detroit scouting reports on the plane.
You got all those right now, right?
Well, we got the report from when they shellacked the Astros in a 4-game series earlier this homestand.
They sure did look good.
Got that report.
They can pitch, and offensively, last I checked, they were leading in runs scored.
It's 2 balls, no strikes. Well, they won the first game in 14 innings. So that's not a shellacking. But then they won another tight ball game, 4-3, and then 17-2 and 9-0. So those are the 2 that stick in our mind, of course, since they happened last in the series.
Actually, 14 innings will stick in my mind.
That would, yeah, that would stick in there for a long time, wouldn't it? 3 balls, no strikes to Chirinos. It's 3-1. The Tigers are 20-14. They are 11-5 at home.
Now, they don't start the day leading the American League in runs scored, but they are the leader in runs per game. Oakland leads, but they've played 5 more games than the Tigers. They lead by 1 run over Detroit. So effectively, Detroit is easily the best scoring team right now.
Chirinos draws a walk. Houston Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by the Chipotle Chicken Combo. It's back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax. There's a 1-out base runner, and it's Leonis Martin batting. He is 2 for 3, a single and a homer in this game for the number 9 hitter. There's a foul ball drifting out of play. There's strike 1. So the Tigers, with a 1-game lead on Cleveland, with that 20-14 record, are trying to bump the Indians today and take the 2-game advantage over them. Jose Valverde is in there right now with 1 out to go to nail down that 3-2 win. He has a runner at second base, and he's facing Jason Giambi. Line drive goes foul up the right field line, and it's 0-2.
That Detroit-Cleveland matchup may not sound like the clash of the offensive titans, but right now they are the 2 best scoring teams in terms of runs per game.
Interesting. And the Indians did a number on Justin Verlander yesterday. But that lineup, yeah, the center fielder Austin Jackson was hot when he was here. Andy Dirks was hitting well. Then, of course, Cabrera fielder Victor Martinez, and so on down the line.
Cabrera off to much better numbers than he had last year at this time when he took the Triple Crown.
Well, he's won the last 2 batting titles. And if he wins again this year, he would be the first right-handed hitter to win 3 batting titles in a row in the majors since Rogers Hornsby.
That is rather impressive.
Yes, it is. Foul back. Still no balls, 2 strikes.
You know, he won the, well, let's see, I have to talk about these great numbers right now, but even with everything Cabrera's doing, he's not leading in the OPS category right now. That's kind of hard to believe.
It really is. Cabrera's hitting .376 right now. He's leading in batting average. That's a ball, 1-2. James Loney is second, and what a resurgent year for the Houston native. He's hitting .371 for Tampa Bay. Then it's Carlos Santana, .350, the Cleveland catcher, and Jose Altuve was 4th as the day started. Foul tip strikeout. 2 outs. Strikeout number 1 for Edgar Gonzalez.
He slips the high heater on by.
And the Astros will be in Pittsburgh next weekend. The Pirates are 20-16 right now. And in the NL Central, they are 3.5 behind St. Louis. They're winning today 3-2 over the Mets in New York, bottom of the 8th inning. Strike to Elvis Andrus. Andrus has 2 hits and a walk today. He has scored twice. And Parma's hit his 2nd home run for the Buccos today. Lucas Duda belted number 8 for the Mets. Line shot right field, in for a hit. Crow over to pick it up and get it back in towards second base. And it's a sharp single for Andrus, his 3rd consecutive hit in this game. The outfielders have been busy today.
I think if I'm Ron Washington, I say to my troops, let's get batting practice tomorrow.
Yeah, really.
They did not come out and hit today, and he couldn't have a better day offensively.
17 hits, 12 runs for the Rangers. Leori Garcia has 3 of those hits. He's 3 for 4. He's driven in a run. He's scored 3. He's stolen a base. There's ball 1 to him. He's a guy who does not play very much at all, so he is really cashing in on a rare start this season. Strike makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count for Leori Garcia. Blue Jays are pounding the Red Sox 10-2. They're in the top of the 8th at Boston. Joey Bats has hit a couple.
He's batting in the 2 spot in that order today.
9 home runs for Jose Bautista. Late swing there makes it 1-2.
John Gibbons is now trying anything he can dream up.
Edwin Encarnacion hit his 11th home run. Emilio Bonifacio, number 1. Brett Laurie, number 4. And the Blue Jays are having a field day. They haven't pitched or hit well at all. They're 14-24. Swing and a miss, and Garcia whiffs. To end the 6th for the Rangers, no runs, a hit, 2 men stranded, 12-1.
We head to the bottom of the 6th, 12-1 Rangers. Join us May 24th for the next big and bright Friday night. The Astros take on the Oakland A's at 7:10. 10,000 fans will receive an Astros koozie courtesy of Budweiser. Then stay for the post-game fireworks show presented by Marathon Oil. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com to get your tickets today, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Nice gesture. Flowers at the ballpark. Jose Altuve with strike 1 is 0 for 2. Chasing that low pitch from Nick Tepesch. Tepesch just threw his 73rd pitch of the game. He's thrown first pitch strikes to 10 of 21 hitters. That's a hit through the left side. Altuve's 51st hit of the season.
Altuve hung out a rope his first at bat that was handled beautifully by Murphy in left field, but this rope nobody can get to. That is a great swing. Look at the right shoulder come through. Just strong through the hitting zone. Not a ping it around hitter.
No. He's not being held on by Moreland in a 12-1 game.
Yeah, this is one of my beefs with that unwritten rule thing. The Astros are supposed to be trying to do everything they can to get back in the game, but trailing 12-1, they're not expected to run here.
True. Castro rifled a line drive homer in the 4th to right field. He's 1 for 2. Off Bo Porter's hand. No balls, 2 strikes.
I don't even think he lost the sunflower seeds in the effort.
No, he didn't. He was ready for that one. That's called pulling the ball. You hit it behind you. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now I wonder if Jason is focusing on maybe trying to pull balls a little bit more. He's, I don't want to say in a rut because he's hit so many balls well to left field. But I had made a comment recently that I would expect to see teams pitching him in more. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Strikeout number 7 for Tepesh.
This time a slider in.
And we're seeing that happen. Chris Carter has fly to center and he's walked. Cubs lead the Nationals 2-1 in the top of the 9th at Washington. There is strike 1. Career high in strikeouts for Tepesh was 7. Steven Strasburg gave up some more unearned runs last night against the Cubs. He's allowed more unearned runs than anybody in the majors this year. 0-2. Ryan Zimmerman made 2 more errors. He has 7 now this season, and he has a major problem with his throws again this year.
I just think he shows some classic symptoms of having the thing.
He does. That's really an unfortunate development for that Washington club. Carter strikes out. That's number 8. To the point that some of the television commentators are talking about maybe moving Zimmerman to left field. Maybe Harper can come in and play some third base.
You know, there's a funny thing about the thing, the throwing ailment that players will come up with, that when you move that guy that's having a tough time with it to the outfield, it tends to completely go away. Dale Murphy had it, and as a catcher went to center field and it was gone.
Rick Ankiel.
Rick Ankiel is a great example. I can't think of a load of guys that fit that scenario, but I remember Steve Sachs with the Dodgers back in the 80s.
True.
Came up with it and found a way to get by it.
They didn't move him to the outfield.
No, he stayed at second base, but opposing players would just scream and duck in the first base dugout to try to exacerbate the problem for Sachs.
Yeah, that's tough to take.
Yeah, it is. Chuck Knobloch, of course, a guy who is noted to have had that.
Rolled out to shortstop. There's the toss from Andrews to Garcia for the first play on Altuve. That's no runs, a hit, and a man left after 6. 12-1 Texas.
Out there, especially mine. Mom, hope you have a great day, and I hope Dad takes care of you all day today.
It's 12-1 Rangers up 7. Some of you watching this game right now don't have CSN in your own home. If your TV provider doesn't carry CSN yet, call and tell them you want CSN so you can have the very best coverage of your Astros. This is your network, Astros fans. You deserve it. To get the facts, go to iwantcsnhouston.com.
It's 12-1. The Rangers lead it. The Astros have a new second baseman. Jimmy Paredes has checked in for Jose Altuve, who was 1 for 3. And that one comes in tight. Ball 1 from Edgar Gonzalez, beginning his 3rd inning of work. Paredes there as Lance Berkman bats. Berkman is 1 for 4. He's driven in 2. Dials that one back for a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The Astros have their first series in Arlington against the Rangers July 5th through the 7th. Rangers have one remaining trip to Houston. That is August 9th through the 12th, a 4-game series. Oakland swings at that one for a 1-2 count. Then the Astros make their remaining trips to Arlington August 19th through the 21st, September 23rd through the 25th. That one's in on Berkman, a little bit up maybe as well. 2 balls and 1 strike to Lance. Edgar Gonzalez. 2-2. Let's make it. The Rays lead the Padres 4-2 in the top of the 9th inning. James Loney hit his 3rd. Soft pop. Dominguez coming in. Gonzalez. Whoa! Gonzalez caught it. And they bumped together. 1 out.
Yeah, nice to see that the catch was eventually made, but as a pitcher, when you hear an infielder call, "I've got it," get out of there as quickly as you can.
I think in his mind, his being Edgar's, the ball wasn't in the air very long, so he did glance over at Matt.
Yeah, and I understand the initial call, but at the point again, when you hear the other infielder actually call for the ball, just get out.
Now Beltre is 4 for 4, including an RBI double, a 3-run homer. That pitch in tight, and that was coming. There's ball 1. Didn't look like a purpose pitch at all. Might have just gotten away from Gonzalez. It looked like a breaking ball, in fact. Yep, curveball. Right over the middle of the plate. He fouls it back, and it's a 1-1 count.
Hitter Beltre has had himself quite a day. He got it started with the base hit, and then he goes for the 2-bagger up on Towles Hill, lines one to right field for another double, and then launches as he drops to his knee, and that a home run that had to be replayed to come up with it. Just the triple shy of the cycle on the afternoon.
He flies out to Trevor Crowe. 2 down. And Mitch Moreland will be next. He's 1 for 3 with a walk. Edgar Gonzalez took over after Jordan Lyles went the first 4. $19,730 is the paid attendance today. Rockies are shutting out the Cardinals 5-0 at St. Louis in the bottom of the 7th inning. Troy Tulowitzki has hit his 8th homer. Colorado has been shut out by St. Louis the first 2 games of that series, but the lefty Jorge De La Rosa is on the mound, doing well today. The Astros will play both those clubs in interleague play, the Cardinals and Rockies, this year. It's the Yankees 4, the Royals 2. They're in the bottom of the 8th in Kansas City. Vernon Wells hit his 9th and Robinson Cano his 10th for New York. In support of Hiroki Kuroda.
Vernon Wells, Lyle Overbay, a couple of guys that have stepped in and kind of come off the heap wagon and really doing a nice job.
They have been. Foul ball keeps the count at 0-2. Braves and Giants underway. No score after 1. The Yankee club has truly been amazing. With all those guys they picked up just to fill in. There's that ball off his shin guard.
When to wear a shin guard. When you're already hurting and you know you hit it right there time and time again.
Yankees are in first by 1 game over Baltimore and Boston at 22-13.
Yeah, you look at that injury list, the DL for the Yankees, it's hard to believe that they're not sitting in the cellar in that division.
They have a whole team down in Tampa right now on the disabled list. Rehabbing. Fouled away, still 0-2.
Well, it's surprising that with some of the names there that they don't drop $40,000 a day just to watch them work out. Eric Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, Curtis Granderson, Mark Teixeira. Not to mention some of the pitching staff.
True.
Michael Pineda, Ivan Nova.
But Chamberlain's on the DL now. Teixeira might be back before the end of the month. Foul ball back. Still 0-2. Girardi might be manager of the year if he brings that club in first.
Just to keep them in contention. But again, what a job by Vernon Wells and Lyle Overbay.
The Wells story is really interesting because of his contract that the Angels took on, and then he didn't produce anything for them, so they moved him on to the Yankees.
Guy who lives right up in the Arlington area.
Yeah. His father's an artist.
Yeah, he is, and a good one.
Very good sports artist.
Also Vernon Wells.
Strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Edgar Gonzalez. It's a 1-2-3 7th inning, and the fans will rise and sing God Bless America in a 12-1 ball game.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our Sunday afternoon tradition here at Minute Maid Park. Now we kindly ask that you please rise and join us as we honor our great nation with the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home.
In the singing of God Bless America. 12-1 Rangers. The Rangers make some changes now. There's Jeff Baker taking over at third base for Adrian Beltre. Beltre going 4 for 5 with a homer and 4 runs batted in this game. Baker has played some left field in this series, first couple of games. Now moving to third base, and here's the pitcher Michael Kirkman taking over after 6 innings of work from Nick Tepesch. Tepesch allowing 4 hits, 1 run, walking 1, fanning 8, career high in strikeouts. Kirkman is 1 for 1 in saves. Last night he had a difficult time. In the 9th inning, he came in with an 8-3 lead, gave up a single to Carlos Corporan, a double to Carlos Pena, left the game, both runs charged to him. And there's a foul ball. by Ronnie Cedeno. Strike one. Kirkman is out of options, so the Rangers apparently will just try to nurse him along and get him back to a state in which he's successful. They have that luxury right now, Ash, with their 23-13 record, and the other guys in the bullpen pitching very well.
Well, he's allowed 21 hits and given up 9 walks in 13 2/3 innings, so a lot of base runners.
Last 2 games in 1 1/3 innings, he's given up 4 hits and 3 runs. Kirkman in his last 10 games has an ERA of 9.31. He's given up 10 earned runs in 9 2/3 innings. Way up to Cedeno. It's 1-2, but in a game like this now, 12-1, he's expected to come in here and get some outs.
Maybe expected to throw a lot of fastballs. I prefer having a guy just pitch his own game, but see if the Astros hitters get a bunch of the heat.
2-2 the count. Kirkman is from Lake City, Florida. He was a 5th round pick in 05, 26 years old, listed at 6'4". Pitched 28 times last year for the Rangers. He gets a strikeout. Got some tilt on that breaking pitch.
The Dynamo put their home unbeaten streak on the line tonight against Sporting KC. Coverage begins at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet Plus.
It's Orioles 6, Twins nothing at the end of 7 in Minnesota. Matt Dominguez is the batter. He's 0 for 2. Fouls it away. There's strike one. Adam Jones hit his 5th. Steve Pearce number 2. And Chris Davis number 11 for the Orioles. Davis had that torrid month of April. And he's had some leg miseries. Production slipping off the last 10 days or so, but back on the home run board today. There's a liner foul.
Chris Davis, one of the 2 guys in the American League with a higher OPS than Miguel Cabrera. The other being Carlos Santana of the Indians.
Diamondbacks in the top of the 2nd have a 2-0 lead on the Phillies in Arizona with Brandon McCarthy on the mound. Gerardo Parra hit his 3rd home run. Reds beat the Brewers 5-1. Bronson Arroyo the winner over Willie Peralta. 1-2.
Are the Reds the class of that division?
I think they are. I've been very surprised by the Cardinals. Cardinals are in first place. They had a 3-game lead over Cincinnati coming into play today. And they have really done a heck of a job this year.
They seem to do it almost year after year.
Yeah. Well, Mike Matheny has picked up right from where Tony La Russa left off.
Yes, he has.
That Cardinal club has been getting outstanding starting pitching. Has not put much of a load on the bullpen at all, which would seem to be the weak part of the team right now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So perhaps over the long haul they get exposed, but no reason to think that right now. They have some guys who really aren't hitting what they normally would be, like David Freese.
Get enough pitching, you find a way to win.
That's for sure. Ground ball and the shortstop Andrews spins, makes the accurate throw for out number 2. The Rangers are 15 for 15 in saves. Terrific bullpen start. Or they're 12 for 12 rather. The last team to be better out of the chute than their 12 for 12. Pittsburgh went 15 for 15 in 02. Mike Maddox back with the club today. Has not seen a blown save this year. Joe Nathan took another one home last night for his 11th of the season. Brandon Barnes is the batter. Fouls it away. There's strike one. He struck out both times today. Rangers are the only major league team without a blown save this year. In tight, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
I know Nolan Ryan a few years back said he wanted to emphasize starting pitchers going deeper into ball games. He didn't believe, like the general consensus out there, that 100 pitches was kind of the mark. I don't know how much they've lived by that. But at the same time, if they've got those starting pitchers geared to going deeper into ball games, does that have that positive effect on the bullpen?
I would certainly think so. Well, that Joe Nathan pickup has looked very good for them. They've had outstanding setup guys. Foul back.
Sometimes you pick up that veteran late in his career. He's had a terrific career, but things don't work out. In the case of Joe Nathan, it has obviously worked out quite well.
And he goes down.
Well, they have 3 lefties in the bullpen. Besides Kirkman, they have Robbie Ross and Joseph Ortiz. Both Ross and Ortiz are really pitching well. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. We have Tanner Shepard. He's moved in as the 8th inning setup man for Joe Nathan most of the time. And they could be getting Joakim Soria back. They picked him up, and he could become the setup man later on this season if he gets healthy, recovering from surgery, to help in the late innings before Nathan arrives on the scene.
If they get that combination, that's kind of that lockdown back end of the bullpen.
Then they have a lefty reliever, Neil Kotz, pitching well at AAA now. Fly ball outside the right field line, and that's out of play.
I like what Robbie Ross did last year.
Yeah. You know, and people used to talk about the Rangers wilting in the heat of all those home games in Arlington, but their players have learned to manage that.
Certainly learned to not allow that to be an excuse.
That's a big part of it too, don't you think?
I do.
Gentry stationed over in right center for Brandon Barnes. Chops one foul, third base side, keeping the count at 3 balls, 2 strikes. David Murphy was talking about from the position player aspect how he manages the heat in Arlington, and he said, well, you know, he would like to hit the weights during the off season, and then he would find it difficult to stay on that program when August rolled around and the heat got pretty intense in Arlington. So last year he didn't do much lifting, or the year before rather, but last year he started doing just lighter lifting and found that worked for him. So a lot of it's trial and error. Strikeout number 2, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Kirkman in the 7th inning. 12-1 Rangers.
It's 12-1 Rangers as we enter the 8th inning. And it's time for our Progressive fan of the game. I am with Stacy as she has her 2 sons here, Brady and Luke. Stacy, here you go. Here's your bag of goodies from Progressive. Tell me what brings you out today. Other than just a great great time at the ballpark, what brings you out?
Just celebrating the nice weather, roof open, Mother's Day at the ballpark.
Is there anywhere else you'd rather be right now?
Oh, of course not. I mean, an Astros win would help, or more than one run, but it's a fun day.
Awesome. You've been a long-time Astros fan, excuse me.
Yes, ever since I moved to Texas.
Guys, back up to you. We're having a good time down here.
Yeah, just enjoy it, Julia. There's a one pitch out for Edgar Gonzalez here, leading off the 8th inning. Gentry retired. He's 1 for 5 now. And David Murphy comes up next. Murphy with a 2-run homer in the 3rd, a line drive to right field. Then, through an intentional walk in the 4th, lined out to left. He's 1 for 3.
They made a great defensive play early in the ball game that really could have changed the fortunes quickly of the Astros.
Sure did. Snagged that ball in the gap in left center, hit by Altuve.
That shot likely would have produced a run, certainly could have in that 1st inning, and set things up.
This one to left center field. Barnes is running. Barnes lays out for it, and Brandon Barnes makes a tremendous catch.
Guy can play with the glove. No question about it. Great effort. And you could just see him closing on this ball the whole way. A good peek. Ball slicing away toward that gap in left center field. And speed and instincts, that's what this is all about.
That's in a 12-1 game. Tremendous effort by Barnes. Robinson Chirinos next. Fouled away, strike 1. Chirinos 1 for 3 walk. Interesting you should make that point about the Murphy catch right before the Barnes gem.
Yeah.
Just talking with Brandon Barnes before the game last night about how deflating a defensive play like that can be to the hitter and the other team. Not in a 12-1 game, but a tight ball game kind of thing.
Well, look, we made the comment about the Rangers. You get something going early and suddenly everybody kind of starts to feel the party mode, and you kick it in offensively. You never know how a play like that might have negatively impacted the Astros today.
Martin on deck with Chirinos batting here in the Ranger 8th inning. Rangers going for a sweep of this series. And that's a strikeout to make it a 1-2-3 inning. A 6-pitch inning. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 12-1 Rangers.
The 8th now between the Astros and the Rangers, and it's just like we promised earlier in the game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and we are going to take a look at Trevor Crowe last night. Talk about some good defense. Made a great throw from right field to throw the runner out at home, and then in the 9th coming up with a big RBI single, get the Astros rally going, and then he would He would go from first to third on a Joe Nathan Wild pitch there, and then later scoring on a sac fly, all in front of his mom, who was in the stands as she came in from Oregon today, guys.
Well, that's a timely trip for her. Terrell Crow enjoying the show from Trevor in last night's game. It's 12-1 as Derek Lowe comes in from the Texas bullpen. Michael Kirkman had a 1-2-3-7 with 2 strikeouts. Lowe, the veteran right-hander, has been in 7 games with 1 win, no losses, and a 5.56 ERA.
39 years of age, that does qualify as veteran.
Boy.
He's got the walks down to just a pair in 11 in the 3rd innings. Gonna hang around and get the job done. Cut down on those walks. That's a nice step in the right direction.
Trevor Crow leads it off here in the home 8th inning. He's 1 for 3. Derek Lowe listed at 6'6". He was with Cleveland and the Yankees last year with a 9-11 record, a 5.11 ERA, and picked up as a free agent in March of this year by the Rangers. That's strike 1 to Crow.
He's been a winner, 176 career wins in the big leagues while losing 157.
Yep. He's done a lot of good things. Started and relieved. 8th round pick of Seattle in '91.
Once upon a time 16-8 with the Dodgers back in 06. 17-7 in 03 with the Boston Red Sox. Actually 21 game winner while losing 8 in 02.
Yeah. Yeah, he was an all-star as a closer in 2000 and as a starter 2 years later. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In that 2000 season, he led the league in saves with 42 for Boston. Pitched a no-hitter in that all-star year of 02 against Tampa Bay and went 21-8 for Boston that year with a 2.58 earned run average. And then in 06 with the Dodgers, he led the league in wins with 16. Still a 1-2 count. But then with Atlanta in 2011, he was 9-17 with a 5.05 ERA. And last year, his ERA once again was above 5. He has not been used in key situations this year by the Rangers. Did pitch here opening night, gave up 1 run in 1/3 of an inning on a pinch hit homer by Rick Ankiel. He came in with a couple of men on base, and it was a 3-run homer, but only Ankiel's run was charged to Lowe. Rangers allowed 7 runs to the Astros last night. That's the most they've allowed since they beat the Angels late last season. Last day of September. Bouncer to first. Foul ball. Keeps the count on Crow at 1-2. Both clubs will be headed out of town after this. Some people will be headed across Texas Avenue for a Tally Hall birthday bash at BBVA Stadium tonight as the Dynamo take on Sporting KC at 7 o'clock. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You won't be able to go to that, though, Ash.
I'm going to have to jump on a plane, I think.
I believe your presence is required.
Not necessarily, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Now that you're properly attired in a pink tie, you're allowed to travel. Fly ball up the right field line, headed for the seats. And that will be snagged by a fan.
Really like Trevor Crow. We just haven't seen a whole lot yet, but a guy who was, as we've talked about, a big prospect and draft pick for Cleveland once upon a time. What you always hope is that the guy's just finding himself right about now. Fan has certainly found himself with a nice play down the right field side. But he hangs in there with that left-handed at bat.
Golfs this one out to center field. Blocked by Gentry. 1 out. Yeah, you might be seeing a lot more of him. And Justin Maxwell continues to work his way back from the broken bone in his left hand. He was doing some throwing on the field before the game today. And he's doing his running, but obviously can't use that left hand for very much right now. He can squeeze a ball with it. Probably will be swinging again in a few more days. Carlos Pena is 1 for 3. You know, somebody like Justin Maxwell, he's probably gripping a bat right now just to see what he can do.
Try to grip the bat, hang on with that one hand, and swing the bat around and gain the strength back.
Right. Strike to Pena. Jimmy Paredes on deck. Check swing call goes Pena's way. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count. Jason Grilli of the Pirates nailed down a win over the Mets. He is 15 for 15 in saves himself this year. Rangers are 12 for 12 as a team. Nathan with 11 of those. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. Next month we'll have the big baseball draft coming up. Well, they are scouting furiously for that draft right now. Reports indicating that the Astros have their list of the top pick paired to 7 possibilities now. Jeff Luhnow's been out scouting. He likes to see those possibilities for the first overall pick himself. It's a walk to Pena.
Create memories, save money, and have fun with the Astros and baseball here at the ballpark. No matter what your special event, we will create an experience your group is sure to remember. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com to find out more.
Well, a year ago, as we approached the draft, it appeared that the Astros might be in line to take Stanford right-hander Mark Appel. They did not. Pittsburgh took him 8th overall and didn't sign him. Jimmy Paredes up for the first time, takes ball 1. Appel could be the first guy this year, though. Paredes at 150 has 3 hits and 20 at bats. He's driven in a couple. 2 for 12 left-handed. Fouls it away. And Jonathan Gray, another college right-hander from Oklahoma, is one of those considerations as well from what we're reading. Anyway, the Astros don't discuss that publicly.
Imagine the agent comes in large in that decision.
Oh, you know that. But the difference with Mark Appel is that he's a senior now. 2 balls and a strike. So, you know, what are the options that he would have? A junior can go back to college as he did last year rather than signing. And Appel is having an excellent year. But a senior can't get any more college eligibility, so he could go play independent ball, and Scott Boris's clients have done that on a few occasions. That one slicing away from the left fielder Murphy and going back into the seats, but the options are somewhat limited. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So he could play independent ball and then wait a year and go into the draft again the following year. The signing deadline is different for seniors than for juniors.
I have managed a couple of years of independent ball, and I can assure you there are not many $1 million plus contracts being handed out.
No, sir. That is not the case. And then there's the risk factor. If a player does that, what if he's injured playing independent ball? And that's happened to a few guys.
And it's tough when you start playing trying not to get injured.
Yeah. Line drive looping to right field, and that's in for a hit. Martin over to pick it up. Paredes is on with a single. Pena goes first to third on the hit. And Jason Castro has 2 men on.
Down and in. They say left-handers like it there. fastball hit kind of off the end of the bat, but Jimmy Paredes has a stroke that probably says he does like to pitch in, down a bit.
That's 5 hits for the Astros. Jason Castro ripped a homer on a line to the right field seats in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Chris Carter on deck as ball 1 comes in low. Somebody cooking out.
That's a lot of smoke coming off that barbecue.
It is a lot of smoke. Ground ball hit to the right side. That'll score Pena to make it 12-2 on the RBI single by Castro. He's driven in 9 this year now.
He's pulled a couple of hits here this afternoon. There's the home run being the first, but if they're going to pitch me in, I'll go ahead and yank it to right. This ball pretty much through the heart of the plate. That was right in that zone that the Texas Rangers hitters have enjoyed today.
Right on through into right for a Castro single. Castro 2 for 4 in this game. Chris Carter's 0 for 2 with a walk. Carter takes a look at it. There's ball 1. Jose Veras is getting loose for the Astros. He might need an inning to stay sharp for the next series at Detroit. That's rocked to left center field by Carter. Hit over Murphy's head and into the seats for a 3-run homer for Chris Carter. Number 9 for the club leader. He now has 22 runs batted in. And it's 12-5.
Are we going to see another one of these late charges by the Astros?
Well, they don't really like to give away those at-bats in the 8th and 9th innings. Kept scoring last night in the 8th and 9th and again today.
Well, Chris Carter just keeps plugging away, picking up his home runs, and if he continues to get the at-bats, really looking like a guy that, despite a lot of strikeouts, might hit 35-plus dingers.
Well, he's hit 9 now in less than 40 games, so simple math would indicate he's on a pace to hit at least 36. With ball 1 to Martinez, who's 0 for 3. So he would be on a pace to wind up with, roughly 90 runs batted in right now.
And I guess that's the question you ask. Are you okay with 230, 220, 230 in that range and a bunch of strikeouts and the other numbers that you just mentioned?
I think it works with the right club.
Yeah. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like Mark Reynolds.
Yeah.
Reynolds, give him a chance to play every day, might continue to set the all-time strikeout marks, but he'll hit you a bunch of home runs and drive in some runs along the way.
Sure, it depends on the composition of the hitters around him in the lineup. But his numbers, just on pure numbers, yeah, a lot of clubs would like to have a guy who could do that. That's a strikeout for out number 2. Ronnie Cedeno's 0 for 3. Chris seems to get his home runs in bunches, as many power hitters have down through the years. It's off to the best home run start since Lance Berkman in 08 by an Astro anyway. Strike to Cedeno. Lance hit 12 home runs through May 11th in that 08 season. No balls, 2 strikes to Cedeno. Carter now has driven in runs in 4 of his last 6 games. Poke to first base, Moreland there. And in the 8th, the Astros put up 4 runs on 3 hits. Carter goes deep for 3 of them. It's 12-5.
You taught me everything I know, and I wouldn't be where I am without you. I love you, Steph, and I love you, Aubrey, too. Grandma and Grandma, you're always special, too. So, everybody, if I missed anybody, I'm sorry, but this one's for you, Mom. Love you.
Chevron will show you the pitching matchup now as the Astros move on into Detroit. It is Bud Norris, brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car against Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez with one of the top ERAs around 1.97, but not a whole lot of luck in the wins and losses columns, 3-3. Bud's 4-3. His ERA 3.40. That's the matchup tomorrow night at 5:30 for Astros pregame live on Comcast Sportsnet Houston. Jose Veras gets the ninth inning here just to try to keep him sharp for the next series. He's 0-2 with a 4.5 ERA, 4 for 6 in saves. And he did not pitch in this series. In the previous games, go back to the Angels series, and that was his last outing in the Wednesday game. There's a foul ball back by Martin, strike one. He's homered and singled, so last outing for Veras on the 8th Wednesday. He had a hitless inning with a strikeout. Bull Porter does not like to let him go more than about 3 days without pitching. The save opportunities have not been numerous for Jose Veras, so this is one way of making sure he has some regular work should he come into a save situation, say tomorrow night. It would be better to have pitched an inning today in this 12-5 ball game in the ninth than not to have pitched, in Bo's judgment. And I think most managers would agree with that, certainly. The problem is the mentality is not the same for the closer. 2 balls and a strike. Coming in a game like this with your club down by 7 in the ninth inning, it's just hard to manufacture the type of adrenaline that would be there coming in with a 1-run lead in the ninth inning.
Or so the explanation goes when guys struggle in this role.
Yeah, and a lot do. Ground ball goes foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jose really hasn't been torched in these appearances for appearances sake outings this year, but a lot of closers can give it up. They just mentally are not really with it when they come in a non-save situation. He had 6 straight scoreless outings, then he gave up 2 in that loss to Detroit. Blown save. Looped on the infield to Cedeno. 1 out. Houston Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Wild Turkey, Kentucky Straight Bourbon. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Final game of this homestand today. It's a 10-gamer, but the next one is going to be 8 games, starting with the Kansas City Royals when the Astros come back from that 6-game road trip. Elvis Andrus has 3 hits and a walk. Strike 1 to Andrus. Kansas City Royals have been a pretty good team so far this year. Strong starting pitching. Good young players. No balls, 2 strikes. Alex Gordon, Mike Moustakas, Eric Hosmer. Who else comes to mind, Ash?
Thinking around that, a couple of those guys you mentioned, Moustakas, Hosmer, guys that they've been counting on but that have struggled a bit, but they are starting to come around. Alex Gordon is a whale of a player. Turned into a very good left fielder. Of course, they've got Jeff Francoeur, the veteran.
That's right. Lorenzo Cain.
Yes.
1 and 2. Oh, the catcher, Salvador Perez.
Played well.
That was Ortiz in the Rangers bullpen warming up. Well, that series starts May 20th. That's a week from tomorrow night. The Royals come in to start an 8-game homestand for Houston.
Jeremy Guthrie, who doesn't lose for Kansas City.
Yeah, that's true. What is it, about 19 starts now without a loss for him?
I think that's what it is. Guy who used to have his struggles playing elsewhere, but boy, has he found a home.
That'll be 3 with Kansas City, May 20th through the 22nd, then an off day, then 3 with Oakland over a weekend series, May 24th through 26th, and 2 with Colorado here. Both of those are day games. You realize this will be a rarity, Ash, as the count goes full. The Astros will play, of course, the usual Sunday afternoon game here, May 26th with Oakland. Then they have a Monday afternoon game and a Tuesday afternoon game with Colorado. All of those 1:10 starts.
That is definitely a different flavor.
I believe that's Memorial Day weekend. Yes. So the Monday Memorial Day game at 1:10, that wouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But the Tuesday game, 28th at 1:10, that would be.
Now, can you get up for all those day games?
Well, there's no choice, is there?
If you're Bill Brown, you might have a choice.
Not really. And then the Astros travel to Colorado after that final day game of that homestand on Tuesday the 28th. So you have to get up. Andrews takes the walk.
Did you enjoy the days at Wrigley when it was day game after day game?
Yeah, a series of day games, yes.
Yeah.
Just a day game after a long night game, not so much.
Actually, as a player, I enjoyed it. And I think even as a broadcaster, I like having the evenings off. It's a little bit of a struggle in the morning.
A little bit?
A little bit.
Okay. Well, you're up
fine
for it.
Little bit, I guess, is the next thing. But
yeah. But no, it's, Wrigley is such a special place. So you think of day games primarily there, even though they want to play even more night games now.
Did you get that from Lance Berkman?
Yes, we talked. We talked. That's a pop up on the infield, and Luis Garcia has hit in the air to Roddy Cedeno. And now somebody got a brain cramp. Andrews forgot how many outs there were, so he's going to be doubled off first. But as a part of these speed-up measures in Major League Baseball, that's allowed today. No score in the ninth inning for the Rangers, and they lead at 12-5.
Happy Mother's Day. Come on, bro. It's not for everyone. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Love you.
Bottom of the ninth, it's 12-5 Rangers. Welcome back, everybody, here on Mother's Day. We want to take a look back at the skippers of this game. Check these guys out. There's Rangers skipper Ron Washington next to Astros skipper Bo Porter. Looking good, gentlemen, back in their day. Wash's hair is my favorite part of this whole thing. Ash, did you ever play with anyone that had hair like that?
I played with Oscar Gamble back in the day, and he was the kingpin of the hair.
Yeah.
If you ever Google Oscar Gamble, and you'll get a treat.
Doing it now.
He was a heck of a player, though. But he had some hair, big time.
He did. He was kind of Coco Crisp-like, right?
When anybody talks about the hair of those days, Oscar is number one on the heap.
Joseph Ortiz comes in. Stocky left-hander with 13 appearances under his belt, a 2-1 record and a 3.18 ERA. Walked only 2 in 17 innings. And Matt Dominguez smacks one into left center field on his first pitch here in the bottom of the ninth inning. So these Astros, no matter what the score is, seem to continue their work in the late innings of play. Dominguez now 1 for 4.
Let's go 9th inning.
That's 8 hits for Houston.
Right off the end of the bat, but finds that gap up the middle. And you can see there's plenty of it there.
Joseph Ortiz made his major league debut on opening night against the Astros here. Brandon Barnes is 0 for 3. 3 punch outs. That's ball 1 to him. Ortiz has brought his ERA down from 4.05 to 3.18 with his last 3 games producing scoreless ball over 3 2/3 innings. He delivers, and that's a strike for a 1-1 count. Ortiz is listed at 5'6" and 204. Out to left field. Murphy checking that wall. He ran into it last night, and that one is into the seats. A 2-run homer by Brandon Barnes, number 2 of the season. And the comeback Astros continue their late inning work. 12-7 now.
I got to tell you, I thought this ball was hit right off the end of the bat.
Yeah.
And it just carried and carried. David Murphy's looking over towards center field with that quizzical look of, you kidding? Nice going for Brandon Barnes. Yeah, it just looks like right off the end of the bat. It's a strong man.
There you go.
Now 12-7 and nobody out in the last of the 9th inning. Trevor Crow's the batter. He's 1 for 4. Carlos Corporan is in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Carlos Pena. Ball 1 to Crow. Crow singled in the 5th inning off Nick Tepesh. Slider's in for a strike. That makes it 1-1. Here's the scorecard for Trevor. One and 2. Both these clubs will be headed out on long flights. Rangers heading for Oakland, and the Astros heading for Detroit after this game. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rangers hope they're on their way to their 24th win of the year.
Ron Washington would love to have some of that hair back. But then don't we all?
Off the end of the bat, here's Crow hustling, and the toss to Ortiz. He catches it barehanded. 1 out.
Yeah, this is get overtime and then create some magic. Nice job to get over. I don't know how Ron Washington feels about the barehanded effort there, but when it's all said and done, he gets it done.
Well, he might not be a fan, but Ortiz might say, well, the throw wasn't out there in front of me.
Yeah, that's true.
So rather than try to reach across my body with my glove, I just reached out and snagged it.
I'm anxious to see more of these right-handed at-bats by Trevor Crow. From the left side, I definitely like what I see.
Strike to the switch hitting Carlos Corporan, pinch hitting for left-handed hitting Carlos Pena. Corp is hitting .320 as a right-handed batter in 25 at-bats. .295 overall, 2 homers. He's driven in 6. It's a strike, and it's 0-2 to Carlos. He's 1 for 4 in this series. He's hit .211 on this homestand. Last night he was a starting catcher for the 11th time of this season. Jimmy Paredes on deck. Ortiz missing, and the count goes to 1-2. Rockies lead the Cardinals 8-2 in the bottom of the ninth at St. Louis. That's strike 3. 2 outs. Strikeout number 12. These pitchers are 4th in the league in strikeouts.
No idea.
Astros continue to average 10 strikeouts per game.
This is another guy, Jimmy Paredes. I want to see more of these right-handed at-bats. He's a gifted looking left-handed hitter. And from the right side, can make himself a whale of a player if he can swing it from this side.
A sharply hit ball, backhanded, and the throw by Garcia gets him for the final out. The Astros rally with 2 in the ninth after getting 4 in the 8th inning. It's 12-7, Texas winning and sweeping this 3-game series. And the Rangers are 5-1 against the Astros in the season series. On Washington with handshakes. His club heads off for Oakland after a 12-7 win.